All right, and welcome to the 55th QubicaAMF World Cup. This is the men's second set of 6 games. So this morning we've seen a new leader. So while they warming up, we can actually have a look and hear what Kelly Kulik had to say from this morning's block.
Service and stay on top of it longer, so the lanes definitely play to my advantage today.
Yes, absolutely. We could see that in the way you roll, I think. Yeah. Now you're a professional. How long have you been on the Pro Tour?
Oh gosh, well, back in 2001 when I joined, I had 2.5 years, and then the ladies tour was rekindled in 2015, so it's been the past 5 summers.
So how did you qualify to come to this tournament?
Our team trials qualification, the person who wins team trials back in the States, which occurs in January, automatically gets a bid to come to the World Cup.
So you've known for 10 months that you're going to come here.
I've been waiting a very long time to get here. More than 10 months, actually, about 19 years.
And I don't suppose you've ever played in a tournament with people from so many countries.
The World Championships, we've met a lot of other international players, but to see everybody here for an individual event, yeah, it's very exciting.
It's phenomenal.
It is.
How are you enjoying it so far?
It's finally a chance to meet more individuals and actually talk to them. I feel the schedule gets so fast and so congested that we don't get to make relationships with the other players, and in this event we can.
Yeah, and when you're with a team, you tend to stick with your team. Here, you've got to mix. You mix on the lanes, you have to mix socially as well.
You do. I like that the crossings, the left goes left and the right goes right, so you get to bowl with all the women throughout the event.
Absolutely, you bowl on every lane and with all the women. Super. Well, best of luck for tomorrow and the day after, and I expect to see you in the finals.
Me too. Me too. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you.
So that was Kelly Kulik, interview with Kelly Kulik with Judy from our press team. So we still have the warming up going on of the men. So another about 7 minutes for practice. In front of us we have Brazil, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Catalonia, South Africa. So yesterday Francois from South Africa, he was the leader, we can't go leader as actually, yeah, you can say. So yes, he is the leader for up to now. So let's see what it is after 6 games. Again, the chat is open, so it is a good morning or a good afternoon depending where you're viewing from. So if you have any questions or whatever, use the chat. Keep it neat. That's the view from above. We have 38 lanes in play of this 40-lane bowling center. Coming from you from Jakabaring Sports Center complex in Palembang, Indonesia. Beautiful center, specially built for bowling. Last year the Asian Games were held here as well, so for some of the bowlers who are playing here It's their second visit, unless you're from Indonesia, of course. So of course we will try as well to get some people here also on the live stream to talk a little bit about their experience so far here. Maybe some people from the Federation of the World Bowling or Indonesian Bowling Federation. So yeah, we had an interesting chat this morning from the other side of the ocean. So now it's 8 o'clock in the morning Central European time. So you should watch it now during breakfast, or maybe already in the office, secretly watching. All right.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we have our first guest already. So wait a minute, because administration-wise, I have to, so we can filter in when it's all happening. So we are on. All right, doesn't matter. So we have. You can introduce yourself. Who we have next to me?
Hello, Rick. My name's Mike Seymour.
Yes, I have this as well.
You have a piece of paper with my name on it, yes.
Yes.
I'm from Australia. I'm the president of the Oceania Bowling Federation and also a member of the World Bowling Executive Board.
We can go a little bit. Okay, so
There I am, yes.
yeah. So let's say we can do that again. So even now we are live. So this, Mr. Seymour. So it's a new. It's a new federation or new zone.
It's a new zone, yes. In 2015, when the old World Champion Bowling Association and the old Federation Internationale de Quieurs, or FIQ as everybody knew it, formed one organisation and it became World Bowling. The new statutes that were voted in back in December 2015 created two new zones. One was African zone.
Yes.
And one was the Oceania zone. So since 2000, or basically 1st of January 2016, there's been 5 international zones within World Bowling. Recently, we've officially formed and created the Oceania zone, even though technically it was in place since the 1st of January 2016. It's now an official zone with a president and a board and a duly approved constitution. So we're all in place. So The federations that are part of that zone are Australia and New Zealand, Guam and Saipan at this particular point in time.
So how many are in that zone? So you got
There's 4 federations: Australia,
yeah,
New Zealand,
yeah.
Guam and Saipan.
Oh, Saipan.
Saipan, yeah.
Okay, because we are now in the European zone. So where is that?
Saipan is north of the Philippines,
Okay, all right,
in Mariana Islands, it's called,
all right.
in that area there.
Sounds very tropical.
It is, yes. But we're looking at developing other federations within the region. Obviously, New Caledonia is here competing this week at the World Cup. We'll be looking at talking to the French Federation because New Caledonia comes under the French Federation,
Yeah.
being a French territory. But we can still form a federation in New Caledonia and they can become part of the Oceania zone. And for the development of the sport in the region and certainly in New Caledonia, they could then start competing in Asian championships.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so forth.
That was the whistle, so they can start. So we want to switch back to the front camera. So let's see what Canada, Brazil, Iraq, Reuni, Saudi Arabia, what they can do. So yeah, sorry to interrupt that, but
So currently, with regards to the zone, the World Bowling Statutes, when they were changed to create the zones, gave the opportunity for the new zones to continue to compete in their zone championships that they historically competed in. Obviously, there was recognition of the fact that both Africa and Oceania didn't have a lot of member federations at the time that the zones were formed. So it still gave the opportunity for those countries and member federations within the new zones to compete in a zone championships.
yeah.
So the Oceania Federation decided at their formation meeting that they would continue to compete in the Asian Zone Championships, and they will continue to do that in the foreseeable future until such time as the Oceania zone is more developed with more federations and there's a viable competition that we could run a zone championship.
So for the viewers, listeners on YouTube, so Mike, what is your background?
My background, I've been involved in the sport for approximately 50 years.
Oh, okay.
I started when I was a junior as a bowler.
Yeah.
I represented my state within Australia as a bowler, but I got involved very early in the administration side of things.
Okay.
I was the junior representative on our state board, on our state association, and basically from there I've moved through. At one stage I was the chairman of Tempe Bowling Australia. Back in 2006 to 2007, I was a board member of Tempe Bowling Australia for a very long time, and in 2011 I was elected vice president of World Tempe Bowling Association.
Okay.
And then in 2012 I was elected vice president of the Asian Bowling Federation.
Okay.
And then from 2012 I took up a position in Hong Kong as one of their national team coaches. And
Okay, so because they was from, okay, he's a coach. I said, well, could be. I said, but for sure we're gonna ask when he comes on the stream.
Yeah,
so
I
you did coaching in the Asian zone.
I
Let's say.
certainly did, yes. I spent 5 years in Hong Kong coaching their national team, travelling to events like this. I think I came to the World Cup twice with the bowlers from Hong Kong. I was very fortunate to be with Wu Su Hong, who was the champion in 2015 and won the World Cup in Vegas in 2015.
Yes.
I was fortunate enough to be there with him. And then in 2017...
That was in Vegas.
It was.
Yes, so that's why. That's why. Okay, all right. Okay, because I said, yeah, well, you ever met him? I said, well, I'm not so good with names, but I know I've seen him, and it's not that long ago. So yeah, that I was there as well in Samstown. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good year for Hong Kong.
That certainly was. Yes, we were very happy.
Yeah.
But no, in 2017 I retired from coaching, and now I just do some administrative work for World Bowling, Asian Bowling Federation, and I'm here this week helping at the Indonesian Federation with some of the logistics and coordination for the tournament.
Well, they're doing a fantastic job.
Oh, they certainly are. Yes. Yeah.
I get messages, private messages, and even on the chat this morning. I said, well, it's organization-wise, hospitality-wise, it's amazing.
Indonesian people, very friendly people, and the organisation for this event has been absolutely superb. The government's been involved here in Palembang. South Sumatran government.
Well,
the
I
provincial
said
government.
they're taking it very serious.
Absolutely, and we're only just commenting earlier that there's more than 800 police and military personnel providing security for the event.
Yes, but
around the place.
I have to remember. I promised the viewers that are in the morning. I can also do it in the afternoon, to make a video of the roll call here in front in front of the bowling. It's good. It's good.
That's with all the security
Yes,
personnel. out
yes,
front,
everybody there, and
Yeah.
get the morning greeting.
And they get their assignments where they
Yes.
should be standing
Yeah,
all day. Yes.
yeah. No, it's interesting. All
And this facility is a very special facility. It was built specifically for the Asian Games last year.
yes.
I was fortunate enough to be the technical delegate for the Asian Games last year, so I had a lot of visits to Palembang in the lead up to the Asian Games last year, and this actual facility is owned by the...
So then also you like the Indonesian food then?
Oh yes,
You
yes, I
travel.
certainly do. I
Yes.
certainly do. I actually currently live in Indonesia in East Java, so yeah.
Okay, all right.
I do like the Indonesian food. But this facility is actually owned by the government. It's a government facility,
Okay.
managed by a private organisation, but yeah, the government actually owns the facility.
Yeah, interesting,
Yeah.
interesting. Yes, it was, facility-wise, it's just amazing, especially for the people that really love the sport of bowling.
Absolutely,
It's you can't go any better than this.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's got the perfect viewing area
Yes,
upstairs for
yes.
the general public to come in.
Yeah, we have the viewers know the camera with the view from upstairs. It's that's very nice. And I think I've been in the stadium in Doha. They have a similar bowling stadium, let's say, but they don't have this view
upstairs, yeah.
from upstairs,
Yeah.
and it's a
Yeah.
really cool view, let's say.
There's some really nice venues being developed these days. The brand new one in Kuwait just opened.
Yes,
40
I've seen a few, but I could only see the intro. I saw the intro of the movie of the stadium, and then of course a little bit of the games.
It is a very good stadium as well. Very good venue. 48 lanes. It's got state-of-the-art equipment in there. It's a fantastic facility.
So now you are also, let's say, a member of the World Bowling.
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
If I may ask you, what is the view, let's say, from the response of the tournament in Kuwait about the new scoring?
I personally, my
Yes, you
personal
can.
view is
No. So
I'm a traditionalist, and I like the old scoring system. There is nothing wrong with the old scoring system, but I'm also a fan of the new scoring system. I think the new scoring system makes it easier for people to understand that are not necessarily bowlers. And a lot of people have said to me, well, we should be educating people. Not necessarily an easy thing to do.
yeah, well, we can, and that's the discussion actually. What we had is, yeah, but then they come with. It's also in tennis. It's not tennis 1, 2, 3. It's 15 love, 30 love.
True. That's
So
true.
educating.
That's true.
Because if I don't know if you followed the social media. So on the social media, it was like like you said, the new generation, let's say, didn't have a problem because they understood straight away which scoring system they were using.
Sure.
The old generation, like me, maybe you as well. You got 50 years in it, so
True.
I didn't understood that from the get-go.
Right.
And I said, okay, well, maybe one, can average that, can have his lucky day. If a pro bowler has a lucky day, he scores. But then when the other scores came in, I said, no, this cannot be.
And that's something that I find strange, that you can't compare the old scoring system to the new scoring system.
No, you can't.
Because it's apples and oranges, it really is. It's,
It is.
I compare the new scoring system or the change to the new scoring system to what volleyball did a couple of years ago. I don't know whether you know anything about volleyball, but volleyball
A little
a
bit.
few years back, I think back in the late 90s up till the early 2000s, you could only win a point on a serve.
Oh, correct. Yes.
All right? So if you didn't win the point on the serve, the ball got
yes,
handed back.
correct.
And,
It was just like
and there was no point awarded.
Correct.
And that could go on for
forever.
Right? They made the drastic decision, and they did it. And I read about this just recently, that they were looking at shortening the length of time it takes to complete a match, and they wanted more viewer participation or viewer understanding of what was going on.
Yes.
So they changed it to a point is won whenever the ball's in play. So you serve the ball and a point is awarded no matter whether the server won or not. So I equate the new scoring system to that. So it's a completely different game.
Yes, it is.
It's a completely different game. And I also, sometimes I look at, like I said, I'm a traditionalist and I understand the importance of stringing strikes together. I understand that the scoring system, the traditional scoring system was developed back in the days when getting strikes was a little bit more difficult than it is today.
Yes.
Some people may say that it's still difficult to get strikes, but with the new technology and lanes and oiling machines and all that sort of stuff, it's probably easier to get a strike these days than it was a few years back. So stringing strikes together back in the day, and that's why you were rewarded.
That's actually a good point.
Right?
It's a valid point.
Is probably, I look at it now and go, if I get 11 strikes and a 9 spare in a game, and somebody else gets 11 strikes and a 9 spare in a game, we should be tied.
Yes.
But you could have the situation where somebody has 279 and somebody else has 289.
Yes.
So is that fair?
No, it's not fair. And I can remember, I don't know, maybe they now asleep, but my former employee in the United States, we had a pro bowler there, and his father, that was the father of Norm Titus from the United States, he came up already with a similar scoring, because it's what you just mentioned is a very valid point.
Sure.
It depends where that spares falls in the strike, and if it's the same amount of strikes and the same amount of spares, should be the same amount of points.
Yes, and another point is that I don't know any other sport where you get rewarded a couple of shots later for a shot you made here. So what other sport, if you get a perfect score in another sport, for example, that you get extra pins added on, or points added on for your next couple of shots?
Yes. Yeah, it is interesting. But it's the first time. You are the first one, let's say, that we had a discussion that comes up with a different view. I like you said, traditionalist. Yes, I am on that point, but as well because I still coaching youngsters and stuff like that. You have to go with it, and they understand it. It makes it easier, makes it understandable for the viewers. Mm-hmm. Now, for the viewers, we can always educate the viewers. We do not have to make on that point so much. So we are going to get the viewers. We are changing. No, we should educate the viewers to understand the scoring. Now, is the scoring complicated? Yeah, it's more complicated than tennis.
Absolutely.
Yes. So if it's what they did now, yes, but you have to, but it's very hard. We're coming just back to, in a nutshell, it's very hard for a traditionalist to take that score out of your mind from, he just scored 280 and this one, no, you can't, but then when you see it, how it is.
Well, it was interesting. I had a bowler, I was here on the first day yesterday.
Yeah.
I had a bowler walk up to me and say, I haven't actually bowled with the new scoring system, but I can see how it's possibly a little fairer. Yeah. He said, I just bowled a game that was something like 197 or something, with no open frames, all closed, and it was a clean game, 197. He said the other guy on the pair of lanes had 2 gutters on the first shot and 3 open frames and bowled 194.
Yes.
Because obviously he put a few strikes together.
Yes, he stringed them. Yeah.
And in that sort of scenario, is that fair?
It's let's see how.
Like I said, I'm a traditionalist. I like the old scoring system. I don't think there's anything wrong with the old scoring system, but I think having a new scoring system out there that's able to be used, that's a little easier to understand for people that aren't bowlers, that maybe sometimes can be a little bit more exciting. I don't think it's a bad thing for the sport.
No, I agree on that one. So while we've been listening to your fabulous and you know, your passion of the sport, because that's one that I can understand and hear you're passionate about the sport. So there is another one that's on the lane from South Africa with the front 7.
Francois.
Yeah, and it looks like that the man. Well,
Francois was the overnight leader too.
yes, but it looks like he's again. If I go right and left, no, there is from Guam as well. I think there next to him on.
Yes, Guam's got
24, yeah.
a couple of 4 strikes up there. Yes.
So you were talking about here about the a little bit about the lane condition and you know, let's say the fairness on this this tournament. That it is for the A player, let's say that like a Francois, I know he's also during the interview it was you know, try to keep it nice and simple.
Yep.
You know, and you really
looking
have
at
to
this
play the
pattern,
lane. It's very fair.
It's fair. You can't make too many mistakes.
No. And we've seen it here in front. You make a mistake.
Yep.
You know, you will not get it. Then of course the pins sound fairly new.
Yeah, it looks like they might have
It's probably like probably a tournament set that they
put
only
the tournament set in.
that
yeah,
they use
that's
for
what it looks
tournaments.
like to me, yeah.
So the 10 pin or 7 pin is also not your best friend.
They never are. So Francois is looks like he's getting ready
Yes,
to.
we had him. I had him on the stream, live stream yesterday, and you know, he came second. He lost actually from the player of Hong Kong.
To Wu Su-hong,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. So he said, no. He said, I want to do one better.
Yes. Yeah.
So he is here with a mission. So it looks like with a good mission.
Well, he's up
So,
on lane 21
yeah,
for the
yeah.
viewers that are
Here we
looking.
go. Yeah, he's on the right side.
He's got a urethane ball out there, and that's a great shot.
Yeah.
Good
And
job.
he as well was telling that he could play the urethane like he does now, but then when the urethane, because it's I don't think it's an old version, but the new urethane, when they get soaked with oil,
Yeah.
you know, they can't use it anymore. They're not allowed to clean it. They're not allowed to change the surface. So they have to go to somewhere else. So he has to move in deep. But
That's
then
what
he cannot use he cannot go around the corner because he goes out of bounds.
That's
So
right, yep.
they have to move that break zone, what it's called nowadays, not anymore the break point, but the zone.
Yep.
Move it more left and just easy way to the pocket.
Yep. And that's what he did yesterday. He
And I
started-
think he was one of the first that did it. JJ from the United States, he tried to slow hook it, and he came in so much trouble.
Yeah. I spoke to JJ after he finished yesterday. He's revising his strategy for today.
Okay, well, I know he is somewhere, but I see that cannot be him. A lot of splits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 splits.
No, JJ from the USA has a 5, the front 5.
Okay, all right.
Lane 9, I think it is.
Okay. Yes, okay. So it looks like his strategy is working.
The new strategy for today. He was certainly very disappointed in what happened yesterday, and thought a lot about what he was going to do today, and told me yesterday he had a new strategy. So that looks like it's working very well for him. Good on him.
Yes, it's one of the players that you can say if he has a different play.
He's just getting up to see if he can throw the 6th one. Let's see what he does. Lane 11. No, that was a little high. I think he's left the 36910. Yeah, left the 36910 there on lane 11.
Well, here comes Francois.
Strike number 9. What can he do here? Looking good.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
perfect.
a great shot. Great shot. And we haven't had a 300 game this week so far.
No, it's what is it? 290, I think, was it?
290 yesterday, I think it was. Yeah,
Yep.
I can't remember who it was.
Yes. Oh, this is the one. Well, if somebody on the chat knows who that was, Hoppa. So now, could you please tell us the balls player are using? Well, we just told you.
Well, Francois is definitely using a urethane. I don't know what the brand
Definitely.
or the actual ball is.
Well, probably pitch black.
Could be a pitch black from Storm, but I'm not sure. So sorry, I can't help you there.
What's or a Dick Weber three dotter.
I think that was pre-1991, so it might not be allowed.
Well, that rule is not in effect yet.
Pre-1991 is.
And then I have a feeling too many bowlers using the new. Well, that I don't know, but.
So the crowd has started now to gather around behind Francois here on lane 21. He's getting up to try and throw number 10.
Yeah. So let's see if that's.
And we have a bird's eye view here because
Yes.
we have the cameras as well as we're standing
Yes,
right
we
behind
will.
him.
If he's gonna make number 10, we're certainly gonna go.
And it's pretty
for
good
it.
going down. There's number 10.
Yeah. All right.
So Francois from South Africa, the front 10 in game number 1 on day 2 of qualifying.
So.
And the crowd behind him gets a little larger.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, it's good that we are already here in the on the high side. So
In the commentary position, yes.
yeah. So here we go. Let's merge that and see.
So Francois looking for number 11. It's going down. It looks pretty good. Hits the pocket and leaves it 10. Unlucky.
Lucky.
It looked all right going down.
Yeah. So.
And the crowd disperses very quickly.
So well. Oh, we missed.
So he
Well,
finishes
yeah,
up
okay.
with
Well, it's just
288.
288.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
JJ down there on lane 11, spared that 36910 and then got a strike in frame number 7. So who else is doing anything out there? The Jazim from Kuwait, 229.
Yeah, I think even with the ladies this morning, the scoring pace went up.
A little, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. It's always, I always expected it to go up on the second day because, you know, people getting used to the bowling. So
Yeah, and that we were saying as well that it's, you know, you play in the morning, then you play in the afternoon. You know, the rule of QubicaAMF is that you cannot alter the ball surface during practice, so you have to make a decision.
Yep, what you're going to do and how you're going to do it.
But that's based on a different time slot, and so it's tricky. Makes it fair as well.
At least they would have got some information out of the 6 games yesterday to be able to, to set up ready for today. I guess that's the.
That's for sure.
That's where the difference will come in, I think.
That is for sure. So then 288. That is a nice way to start.
Absolutely. Now that'll probably put him 100 pins in front now, will it not?
Sorry?
That'll probably put him 100 pins in front now? Or
Could be, huh?
maybe not that many?
So we have some other here on the chat is Fadi number 1. I have a feeling too many bowlers. Okay, yeah, I'm supposed to participate in this tournament representing Jordan, but work condition could not allow. Oh, okay, I got, yeah, that is, yeah, you're not the only one. Sorry to hear that you got stuck with work. We had the girl from Turkey. She is a manager in a bowling center actually in Berlin, and the one who should replace her during her visit here got in an accident, and also one day before she had to fly here, she had to cancel.
Oh, that's terrible. There's an issue with a visa, I believe, also for one person.
Well, we had Israel with the visa, but it was I don't know from which side that was, but you know, let's leave that in the middle. And I don't I didn't hear anybody else that has visa problems.
Yeah, I think there was somebody from Europe that left a little late or something to apply
Yeah,
for their
okay,
visa,
yes,
and,
yeah, that's
it didn't quite come through on time. They didn't have time to get here on time.
Yes, you have because I think I don't know when the latest is that the players have to be how you call it registered at QubicaAMF, so you have plenty of time for to get your visa in, and I think in Europe most of the countries don't need a visa
To come here.
It's just an online
Visa on arrival. So it's
online, yeah, visa on, but you can do it online.
online, yeah. Well, I guess there's obviously some countries.
And the funny thing from Malta, where I live now, was free, but I'm a Dutch citizen or Dutch nationality.
So you had to pay.
Well, I had to pay. Payback time. Payback time.
Absolutely. All right.
So no problem. No problem.
What's the visa worth?
Sorry?
How much do you have to pay?
I think it was like 20
€20
euros or something like that. No, it's fine. It's okay. Okay, it's here it is. Ahmed from Bahrain shot 290. Thank you, Amanda de Lange. And then we have another information about Ethiopia. Ethiopia has only 2 bowling centers throughout the country. Well, Daniel, like I said before, I'm living in Malta and we only have 1 bowling center. So it's not about the
number
quantity,
of venues,
it's about the quality.
That's exactly right.
It's a QubicaAMF center, and I can say so. We need some renovation. Okay, wait. We had a interesting conversation with somebody from the Bahamas. This morning we were talking about, it would be nice to have a QubicaAMF World Cup in the Bahamas. And Judy was from, okay, well, is there, I don't think there is a center.
In the Bahamas?
That's in the Bahamas that big. So somebody came online, yes, there is. We have a 50 lane center, 50 in the Bahamas, but it needs renovation. I said, wait, we got them walking around here. We will be in touch with you. So that was pretty funny. There was some really good conversation going on, you know. So yeah, that's that chat. Keep that going. So yeah, again about the type of balls. Yeah, it's not that we can see everything, you know, and it's not that we are also. I don't think we collecting the information of what kind of bowling balls. I could actually.
The bowling ball information is on the ball lists, but the ball lists are in the tournament office, and
yes,
there's like 160 of them.
Yes, probably yes. So,
so
we can. Well, it's maybe for the next edition. It's that we maybe feed them in some kind of database. It is for the, and I can understand for the viewers to see, you know, what they're using.
Yeah, and they're all very interested to see what they're using, because gives them some idea of what they might be able to use on different lane patterns that they might encounter in their tournament bowling.
So that's I just got the sign language of 212 from
the Maltese guy.
From the yes, he is Philip Ropetta. It's first time he is representing the mainstream from Malta. Yeah, he is coming out of the Special Olympics. He is the winner of 3 gold medals in Abu Dhabi.
Excellent, good on him.
And he is in a very, very good form, we call it. And he is hot from the press. So yeah.
So 2-1-2. That's a pretty good score in this bowling centre.
I think yes. If we've seen it now that you don't have to shoot those very high numbers.
Exactly right.
But so if you hover around the 210, 200, 210,
you
definitely will be in the top 24.
For sure, you'll actually probably be in the top 12.
So now we had another question coming in, or from check out Iraq's approach. Okay.
Where is Iraq?
Probably he just finished, but I think it's. I know what they're talking about, yes, but I think he was voted the Sportsman of the Year 2 years ago, I think.
He's a nice guy.
Yes. Yeah. He was actually just before he had to go on the lane. He asked Khaled from Tunisia to make some pictures with him because he wanted to have some pictures. So Khaled, and actually Khaled is also the new president of the African zone, I think.
No, the new president of the African zone is Farouk Haridi from Egypt. Khaled might be one of the committee.
Could be
one of the executive committee
I think he had something to do with from Tunisia.
Yeah, he's probably on the executive committee. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Certainly Farouk Haridi from Egypt is the new president of Africa. Yeah.
All right. So while they're going into the change, so I don't know if you have any other obligations for now to do, or you're welcome to stay. It's up to you.
I'm happy to stay if you'd like me to sit here.
Yes, sure.
It's a front row seat, and it's good. It's good.
Yes, it is one of the best seats in the house.
Absolutely, and I don't mind staying. That's fine.
Yeah, good, great. So we will get the score update pretty soon. So I'll just. So for the ones that.
Daniel from Latvia was running second overnight, and I can't see where he is.
He was on the right side. He was bowling. So.
Okay. So we'll have to wait for the score sheet to see how if anything changed dramatically, and I think probably Francois 288 might. I mean, he was 40 pins in the lead at that point. That might push him
so for the ones who just tune in while they make the change, so Mike Seymour here.
Good afternoon, one and all. Mike Seymour.
Yes, and he has just been. When was the election?
In June.
In June. So he's just been recently elected in the new Oceania zone of the World Bowling.
World Bowling. Yep.
So. While we are waiting, we had a great game here in front of us from South Africa. And where are the bowlers? Where are the bowlers?
The lanes down here, most of these lanes down here had 3
because I can see from above that Francois already started with his second game.
Yeah, some of the pairs have got 3 on them, which they finish a little bit quicker than the others. With the pairs with 4 on it, a little bit slower. So the rule here is once you've completed your game and you can go to your new pair of lanes, and once all players are present, you can start your game. So it's not everybody starts at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So this.
I see you had a shot of the outdoors of the venue.
Yes, this is from the. Let's put that in again. But let's say it's.
That's from the drone.
Yeah, we had the.
Had the drone up yesterday.
The drone, yeah, and.
So it looks like we've got people coming to the TV lanes. We've got the live streaming lanes. We've got. Kazakhstan over there, I think it is.
Yeah, well,
with Hungary.
Hungry, yeah, hungry is hungry, and he sits there on. He's hungry and to go from
ready
Hungary.
to go, yes.
It's on 21.
And then on 19 and 20, we've currently got Tony from Hong Kong sitting down there waiting patiently.
Yeah.
On
Indonesia, maybe.
On Indonesia looks like they're ready to bowl on lane 19 and 20 as well. Yes. Singapore is on 17 and 18. Looks like Guam might be there too, or he might be just waiting for the lane change to go past.
Yeah.
We have Norway, who's also appeared on lane 17 and 18 with Macedonia. Not sure how far the camera stretches, but on 23 and 24 we have the defending champion, Sam Cooley from Australia.
Yeah, I think they can just at the corner they can
see the pins rather than the bowler themselves. But Sam is up on lane 23, just about to bowl. He's bowling with Bulgaria and Peru and Mauritius. And there's Sam's ball going down on the right-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, interesting to see what how he's gonna do his second block. So I think he started with a strike. Yeah.
He had 187 first game, I think it was. What I saw.
Yeah. Okay, now it should be all ready to
now,
go.
So they're just all making their changes. Everybody
Should be
will
all ready
commence
to
game
go.
2 very, very shortly. Some of the lanes have already got game 2 underway with Francois and the guys down there. They've just completed their third frame of their second game, so they'll get to the stage where they may have to wait a while for one of the games to start.
All right, here they come. They're loading it up now. So we have a black flag. Come on, Wales. I don't know what was the game. Heidi, come on. Hello from Finland. Scores look better today. Yeah, Patrice. Hello, Patricia. Good morning. Yes, even with the girls, the scoring pace is much higher. So I think they found out and learned from it that not to throw it so much towards the gutter because it's not coming back. So and also from Malta, Cynthia Duca. Good morning, Cynthia. So yeah, I think Philip. I think his first game was 212. We are waiting for the scores here because I cannot access the live scoring because we're watching here what's going on YouTube. But I think it was 212 or but it was 200. So good game.
Let's see what the internet says.
So Mike, from 0 to 10, what is the possibility of Australia? Oh, okay, Mike, we have a question.
From 0 to 10.
From 0 to 10, what is the possibility of Australia hosting a World Cup in the coming years? And watch out, because this is one of our favorite, and I don't think they sleep over there because it.
The question is from Vera, is it?
Yep.
Yeah. Vera, that is a very good question. From 0 to 10,
yes.
Australia hosting a World Cup.
Oh, here it comes. The drum.
My view would be it's in the below 5 range.
In the low 5 range?
In below 5 range.
Oh, below.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I can say. I'm not sure that. I'm not sure which QubicaAMF centres are still around in Australia. I know that a lot of the AMF centres were bought by a group called Zone Bowling in Australia.
So we have to remember this phase here. So he says below 5.
That's my opinion. I don't know, but as I said, a lot of the AMF centres in Australia, if not all of them, were bought by a group called Zone Bowling.
Yes.
And they're still running the centres. Whether they're still.
But they have centers with enough lanes for it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, what's the minimum requirement for lanes?
I think it's 30, probably 30, 32.
Yeah, I mean there's
Well, the ideal is what we are using now, 38.
Yeah, sure.
So that will be ideal.
There's a 36 lane centre in Sydney that I know of. I'm not sure if there's been any others built in the last couple of years. I haven't been there for the last couple of years, so I'm not sure about any new centres that are around, but certainly the facilities are there. Whether it comes to Australia, I don't know. I mean, forget about my comment about below 5, I just don't know.
Because, yeah.
Well, thank you for the difficult question.
Yes, that was a good one. So we put you down for below 5.
I said forget that answer.
Ah, Xavier, bonjour. Bonjour, Xavier from Switzerland. It's manager in Lausanne, Vidi Lausanne. Also QubicaAMF bowling center. Actually he has 2. So he just recently upgraded Vidi. Comment ça va? So yeah, you can see the European zone is waking up. So what is the time at the moment in Australia? If
I add 4 hours on, it's 10 minutes to 7 p.m. in the eastern part of Australia.
Okay. Because
in the western part of Australia, it's
we were
like 4 p.m.
We were trying to get Janet Baker.
Janet Baker, yeah.
Yeah, and all good. Are you okay? This is even the wife speaking. Hello, good morning, and are you free? I said, well, I have to ask Dom to come to the table and give me a few minutes. So.
Well, after game number 7 and Francois' 288 game, he now moves on to a total of 1633.
Okay, so now we can, yes.
With Kuwait in second place on 1,500. So the 288 game put him 130 pins in front of second place.
Yeah, and Mr. Danger from Latvia, Daniel, he's he's good in well, only 8 pins. Christopher Sloan, that's
in fourth place on 14.
You know, he knows how it goes because he was runner-up in Shanghai. So let's see what Philip Propetta still in 12th place. That is rock solid, very good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Malta is doing good. So for the
all the Maltese fans out there.
Yeah. Okay. I hope all is fine with you. Yeah. Thanks, Xavier. It's a beautiful center here. It's everybody is treating us very good. I'm really enjoying myself coming back. Let's say after so many years back to QubicaAMF. It's very nice. An honor to be a part of this family. So also
a question there about how the Philippines is going, I think, is there?
If that PH stands for
normally Philippines, I'm
yes.
assuming that's the Philippines. I'm just looking now if I can find Merwin Tan is the representative.
Okay, Bira is not so she's not so happy with your answer. Looking at the at her.
Sorry, Bira. Yeah, so Merwin Tan is the representative from the Philippines this year, and I'm just looking through the listings to see if I can. There he is. He's in 20th position.
Oh.
Merwin Tan from the Philippines.
Yeah.
With a score of 1406 after 7 games, averaging 200.8.
Yes.
So Merwin's still in the top 24.
Yes. Well, I don't know. What is the cut at the moment? 24.
24. The cut is 1383.
Yes,
190.
It's creeping up. I think
two people tied on it. Alex Basala from Slovakia and Renan Zobhaib from Brazil. both on
We should have
1383.
actually had made a screenshot yesterday about because yesterday there were not a lot of people averaging 200, but
No.
looks like that probably by the end of game 6
I think everybody in the top 24 will be over
we'll
200.
have
Yes.
yeah.
So what have we got happening down in front of us here? John Janowicz from
Yep.
Team USA is up on lane 19. He's also using a urethane, it looks like.
Yeah.
I think he told me yesterday his urethane ball is a purple hammer for those people that are looking for the actual balls that they're using. So that's one that I do know.
Okay, but then again, it's I think it's next year that the new rule goes in play of the bowling balls before 1992.
No, 1991. That the rule's already in play.
Oh, it's already in
It's
play.
already in play. Yes.
I thought-
The new rule that goes into effect 1st of August next year is with regards to weight and balance holes,
Oh,
static weights and balance holes. Yes.
so the manufacturing date is already, that rule is already in
That's
play.
already in place. Yeah, that was already in place for. I think it was in place for the 2018 World Men's Championships.
Okay.
So the rule that comes into effect next year is the one on the static weights and the balance holes.
Oh, because I thought the manufacturing was also a new rule.
Yeah, the rule was changed that if the bowling ball's not on the list that was started in 1991, then it's not allowed in World Championship competition anyway. I guess each tournament can actually have its own rule if it wants, but I know the World
Yeah,
Cup
but they were allowed, let's say the original hammers, but
not anymore.
no, not anymore.
Not anymore. No.
And that is the new or revised.
The revised
yeah.
rule, yes. So if it's not on the approved list, which was created in 1991, it can't be used in competition. And I know the World Cup uses the world bowling rules, and that's a world bowling rule.
Well, I think they use their own, well, not their own rules, but I think they still go. I think this year it was still with limited to 1 ounce side weight the bowling balls here.
Oh no, at the players briefing the other day, they said both rules were still in play. So it's still the 3 ounce rule or the 1 ounce rule.
Ah, okay, so now, well, then it's a change then from last year. Then,
Yeah, that's
because
right.
last year it was the 1 ounce.
Yeah. Now
So now they are like in a transition.
That's right. So we're in the process of, if your equipment's been drilled with the 3 ounce rule, with no balance holes, etc., then you can use it.
Yep.
If it's drilled the old way with the 1 ounce rule and balance holes, you can still use it as well.
Yeah.
But obviously next year's event will go to
Yes,
the new
that's
rule.
all the. Will be interesting. Well, Sam Cooley, 22nd place.
Still in the top 24, but he's got a lot of work to do
He
to make
has
up some of those
a lot
pins.
of work. Yes.
There's been no man, I believe, that has won back-to-back World
Yeah,
Cups.
but
Is that correct?
it's a guy that you really expect already to be nice and comfortable up in 24. Okay, now for coming towards the bowler from Malta, Philip Rupetta. Okay, well, the less the better for him. But then again, that a one center island has a bowler in the top 12.
Congratulations, Malta.
Yes.
Has anybody started well down there? There's the guy from Kuwait who's just moved into second
Yes,
place
I've
on the
seen.
list. He started with the front 4 on lanes, I don't know, he's down there on 13 and 14 or 15 and 16, I think.
Yeah, he's still. I don't know. That was again urethane that he was throwing. The what is that purple hammer?
The guy from Kuwait, or
No,
is that,
JJ.
No, there's JJ with the 710. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was purple hammer. But
The guy from Kuwait's just getting up to throw shot number 5. Let's see if he can get the 5th strike.
he didn't hammer it
Didn't hammer it.
hard enough.
Oh my lord. Yep. So Jazim from Kuwait, front 5.
So okay, the Europeans area must survive this week. Yes, hello from the league bowlers of. Oh, look, there is
From
another
Shell
one for you.
Harbour in New South Wales. Hello, Shell Harbour. Nice to hear from you. And JJ just spared the 7-10. Here we go.
Okay, now
Hit the 10 pin hard right in the middle, and it bounced off the back wall, back across, and got the 7.
well, let's rewind that. We got that.
There it is.
Oh wait a minute. Wait. What? How do they say it again? Wait for it. Wait for it. So we just have to. Yep. So let's go. Let's go disco. Here he is.
Straight at it, hard. Hits the pin in the middle. Double bounce off the ball, off the back wall. Thank you very much for coming. Good on you, JJ. One of the nicest guys in bowling.
Yes, I had the honor to work with him for 7 years. So it's one of the nicest characters you can
Ever meet.
have.
Yep.
On the lane, off the lane, under the lane, behind the lane,
Yep.
everywhere he
Everywhere.
is.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
for sure. Let's see if JJ can follow up with a strike after that. He did actually hit the pocket with that 7-10 shot.
Yes, it was, yeah. Oh, changed ball.
Almost. Almost got the pin across the
I
deck.
think he changed ball because that didn't look purple to me.
It didn't look purple to me either. For the viewers from Shell Harbour in New South Wales interested in what Sam Cooley is doing, because I believe that's Sam's training ground. Sam has a double, 9 spare, and then 4 strikes after 7 frames. So he's on a 279 pace at this stage.
So then we have, okay, left cigarettes. Hello, Rick, and hello from Norway. Hey, hi, yes, Finland. Yeah, that was that was a trip. So the the M-flight bowler is still awake. All right. So it looks like that some people don't even sleep, or they have the laptop or
I was
whatever.
going to say the
phone.
laptop's on the bed.
Yeah, on the
that's
bed.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they got them on the big screen or something there.
Tim Johnson. Good afternoon, everyone. Play well, Chris here. Big Dog. Team Wales. Okay, Team Wales. All right.
TJ's Pro Shop. I guess that's a pro shop in Wales. I'm assuming, Tim.
Could be.
So Jazim from Kuwait, who had the front 5, has now got the front 6. Down there on, like I said, what are we at? 19, 17, 15, 13 and 14.
Well,
They're just a little bit out of camera shot.
So who is there on lane 10?
Lane 10.
Oh wait,
that's the withdrawal from
that's
England,
England,
yes,
but it looks like strikes,
Looks
but it's 0, 0, 0, 0. Look, oh wow,
Looks
England.
like he's doing well, but
England
no.
front 7, no.
Unfortunately, he hurt
His finger.
his finger, and
Yeah,
he cannot
He
continue to
that looked
participate.
bad. He was here at the table, and
Yeah.
I don't think it is or fractured or broken, because it was like a big bump he had on it.
It doesn't look good, does it? Hopefully he can get that resolved when he goes back home.
So okay, now he opened the door for us to ask him a question. So it's the AMF Light M-Flight bowler. So honestly, I just started watching this. Okay, but he is.
It's 4 p.m. here in Singapore. So the M-Flight bowler is from Singapore. Yes, 4 p.m.
Yeah.
3 p.m. here in Palembang. 1 hour time difference.
All right, here comes Venice Thomas. The Rugby World Cup is already in South Africa. Fran Lowe, bring this one home too. Whoops. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, he is, like he said yesterday on the live stream, he is here with a mission. You know, he was bowling in Samstown, Las Vegas in 2015. He was bowling very, very good. And lost the final against
Wu Su Hong from Hong Kong.
Yes, and they had a very bad coach that time.
Very bad, yes. Fortunately, I was on deck with Wu Su Hong at the time. So,
Yes. So, but yeah, he said he wants to do one better, and
I can't tell you what he bowled that last game because he's just completed it, and the scoreboard has gone.
oh, it's already gone. So
It's
well,
gone blank,
it has
so
to be.
We'll have to wait for the score sheet to come out to tell you what he bowled that game. So
Yeah, I think it's. I think we have one pair with 3 on a pair. So I think because we have. No, actually now I think we have 2 because the withdrawal.
with the withdrawal of England, and there's a couple down there too.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I think there may be 3 out there.
Because we also have Peru that.
He's back in today.
Is he back in?
Yeah, he's back down there. He's bowling on lane.
Oh right, that's great. That's
obviously the injury that he had yesterday has resolved itself.
That's well, he apparently had a. What I understood, what the coach told me is that he was sick, and he was coughing a lot the week before he came, and he hurt some muscles in his back.
Ah, okay.
So, and apparently he made a wrong move yesterday, and just one of the muscles, I think, or whatever,
Tweaked,
and he couldn't continue. So maybe they had some treatment here because we have on-site facility, you know.
We have the medical room,
yep.
yes.
So.
And there is a massage clinic not far from the hotel as well, in the shopping mall. So.
Okay, so look at all right. It's but it's an Indonesian one, viewers and listeners. So okay, let's go, Maurice. Oh, Mauritius. Only one camera. Yeah, we have only one camera for 6 lanes. Reason is that we are streaming in full HD, so 1080. So we have using a lot of bandwidth. So to use 2 different cameras, so we need 2 different computers and all that stuff. It's gonna take too much away. But what we will do when we come to the semi-finals, we will set up another camera so we can simultaneously stream
because the
men and the women
are going simultaneously.
Yeah. So the men and the women up here. So yeah, it's for the people that want to watch the bowler, they can go on the.
Is there also
on the live scoring?
Live scoring available where they can actually.
Yes. We have live scoring at the QubicaAMF website. You can choose there for the live scoring.
But it's not camera; it's just live scoring. Yeah.
It's just the view of the camera. Yeah, it's it's about a 5 seconds delay, and then of course also the results you can see there. So looks like somebody had a knock on my table. So we can still
Have you got a bit of a
yes?
alignment
My
issue,
alignment. It is possible probably because when we changed the camera for the possible 300 game of Francois.
Francois just bowled 205 from my calculation.
205.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
I think he was at 1633 after game number 7, and game number 8 now he's at 1838. So I think that's a 205 for Francois in game number 8.
So now we're gonna go.
Jazim from Kuwait stopped his run at strike number 6 and got an 8 spare in frame number 7. So. But even with that,
continue.
With that front 6, and depending on how he finishes, he's on a 270 pace. If he strikes out, he'll make some pins up with Francois only bowling 205. So interesting to see how Jazim finishes this game. Daniel, I still can't see where Daniel is from Latvia.
Or he must be all the way on the right.
He's at one end or the other.
All the way on the left. So, okay. So we are. So we can have a look at the JJ. If we all stand tall, so we can have a look what's Yeah, should be all right. Let's load that thing up, fire that thing up, the cookie. Here is JJ with the so beautiful shot there.
So JJ needs to make a move
yeah,
today.
yeah, but as well what I said before, he's still a little bit like what you could see on the tracking system. He still plays on the outside, but just a small, 12 at the arrows, 9 at the break point. So he also
he's keeping it pretty tight.
Yeah, tight. So and it has the same when he has to move more left. Just keep it tight.
Yep. Yeah, this is very unforgiving, this pattern, if you miss a little bit right.
And I think that makes it also pretty interesting, also for the better bowlers. You not get nothing for free.
That's right. It means you have to be consistent and repeat shots.
Yeah.
Repeat good shots.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have any other questions, you can fire away. Let's say. So again, we have Mike Seymour here next to me from the Asian Ocean Zone.
Oceania Bowling Federation, yes.
Yes, so...
For those back in Australia interested in Sam Cooley, he's just about to finish off his game. Possible 247 if he strikes.
So even for the...
And he did, so he bowled 247 in game number 8.
So let's look for the Ethiopian Mengistu. He is coming. Okay, well, I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, even we have from Malta, there are some Australian influences as well. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead with that. As long as we all keep it nice and neat. So let's see what bowler of Kuwait made a front 6.
The front 6, 8 spare and a strike. So he's still on his way for a 270 game if he finishes off 9th and 10th. There's Ryan from Indonesia up there on lane 20. Not having a good day today. I don't think he had a very good day yesterday either.
No.
For his standard, or for his standards.
Scotland, he finished from Scotland with a 225.
Well, Ryan had a reasonable day yesterday, sorry, my bad. He was in 6th place, just not having a reasonable game this game. 123 and 7 with a strike and possible 9 spare. So he has a possible 193 maximum.
Yeah, I think there could be some, I don't know, if some good scores coming from the right. We have to wait until we get the update.
Yes, the results page on the AMF World Bowling website gets updated as each game is completed. So
yes, it's just with the upload, he has to wait until the last score comes in. So he only has to update it once, and he will suck it in from the scoring and through the server up to the website.
So that's why I have in front of me Francois' score after 8, because it's already been loaded. Mo Intan from the Philippines, he has moved on to 1,630, a 203 average, so he improved his score.
So you have it now, you are connecting now to the website.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, that's updated through the scoring. So now I am talking my printout, I can only wait until everybody's ready. Yeah.
That's right, you don't get the printout till the end. So I can look up the scores as we go. Yeah, so Merwin Town, I think probably bowled something around a 230 game that time. And Jazim from Kuwait gets another strike in the 9th frame, so he's still on 270 pace. Christopher Sloan, who is in 4th place before this game, is bowling with us on lanes 15 and 16. He's on a 240 pace if he can strike out.
Yeah, and of course Kuwait is now again coached by Andrew Frawley
Andrew
from
Frawley,
Australia.
yes, that's correct.
He is back with Kuwait after a short trip to Hong Kong, I think it was.
That's correct. He went back to Australia for a while and coached the Australian side, then a very short stint in Hong Kong, and now he's back with Kuwait. Yeah, spent a long time in Kuwait with Andrew did.
Yeah. It's I think it's the second time around.
Yep.
Good song actually. Back when we were wearing shorts. All right.
So Christopher Sloan has a possible 230 game. I'm sorry. Yeah. So he could move himself up. He was only 8 pins behind Daniel Vizes from Latvia, and as we say, we can't see where Daniel is at the moment. He's a bit far away from us.
It's going to be a dangerous danger from Ireland.
So Chris was runner-up in Shanghai.
Shanghai, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the Chinese guy won in Shanghai, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, the spinner. Yes. Yeah. But he was throughout the tournament pretty consistent. So.
Yeah, the spinners generally are. If the conditions suit them, they can certainly shoot some big numbers. If you ever want to see a bowling centre full of spinners in action, just head to the Chinese Taipei Open.
Yeah. Yes.
Held in Kaohsiung every year. It's a sight to be seen.
Yeah, I think there will be quite a few spinners right there. So I think we only have one here. I think the lady,
Chan Shuk Han from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I think you're right. She's the only spinner in the field that I've seen, yeah. Han picked up a bronze medal at the World Championships in 2017 in the singles event. Throwing spinner.
Yeah, well, the bowler from Kuwait made it a double, so he's going to go for the 10th frame. So, a possible 278 there. Possible 278 there, so here he goes. And yeah, that sounded good. Yes,
and that's another strike there.
And the pumping fist for yes, all 10 in the pit.
And Andrew very calmly standing back and just checking the scores out on his phone.
Yes, he's always very, very cool. You never seen him getting excited or angry or.
Yes, being from Australia, I've known Andrew since he was a young fellow.
When Andrew was younger?
Yes, I've known
yes,
him
that was.
Yeah.
But I think that's counts for a lot of us.
So Jazim looking for the second shot in the 11th, the 10th. Yes, and he gets it.
Oh yeah, he had to do the post, but he did that. So
he had a messenger that took out the 7, then came across and took out the 10. It looked like so.
So one more for him for the 278.
For 278, that's correct. Yes, and that will close up the gap, the 130 pins that he's behind Francois by a considerable amount. I think we're just getting an update on how our Maltese player is doing.
So we got, but JJ here in front of us, not so much.
Yeah, he just got a
huge
bad break. He's got a 248-10 split with 158 in the 9th. If he doesn't spare this, he'll end up with a 160 game. He had a go at it, and the ball hooked a lot past that. So he ends up with 164 that game for JJ. Not exactly the thing that he was looking for or needed.
No, but also not the end result. Let's see. That's
And hooked a long way past that.
that's if we're waiting for the other ones to come on the lane so we can have a look at it. Just see. Missed it by how much?
Well, it was a couple of pins. And it hooked straight past him.
Oh, that was a few feet before the pins that went left. So
Christopher Sloan gets a double 9-10, then a 7 split. So he'll end up with, if he makes 2 out of this split, 219. So he hasn't done himself any damage.
So we already have some bowlers already starting, yes, on the high end. They already started.
So as you can see,
game.
Francois started that game number 8 earlier than everybody else, and he finished a long time before anybody else did as well. So he's been.
Yeah, we're waiting off the last ball here on. Was it lane number 16? No, sorry, 14. So that should be it, and they should be ready to...
That's it. All games completed. Game number 8's finished. Lane change is underway.
I don't know where that people coming from, but I think some have their microphone here behind us laying around, because sometimes it starts...
Get some feedback on it.
Yeah, but enough from us, I think.
I can hear that.
No, I don't think so. Well...
So after Jazim bowled 278 that game, he closed the gap to 60 pins between first and second. So Francois still leading on 1838 after game number 8. And Jazim Al-Saka from Kuwait is on 1778. So there's a 60 pin difference. We're just waiting for Christopher Sloan's score to be updated into the system. So we'll have some standings after game number 8 very shortly.
That will come up pretty shortly. So 1920 is already ready to go.
So on 19 and 20 we have Mexico, New Zealand, Ukraine and Spain.
So let's cube back, let's say. Whoopa. So
on 17 and 18 we have Scotland, Slovenia, Tunisia and that's all.
So New Zealand on 19. Saying hello.
That's our friend from Ukraine.
Yeah.
Saying hello to all the followers back home.
Saying hello home from, listen, I'm really here. Okay,
So on lane 21 and 22, which is our other TV pair, we have Lithuania, Belgium, Bangladesh and Korea.
So we have, is it the same oil pattern using during the whole World Cup?
Yes.
You mean this edition or the editions before? Because this is a new lane condition, because it's made for these type of lanes, years of wear and tear. It's only a year old, so it's not the same, let's say, as Samstown. So, but this oil pattern will be used through the whole week. Yes, it's been out since the official practice, and there is a big seal and lock on the machine. So. I just gave myself a note. Okay, so there are 13 countries played in every World Cup since 1965. So from Europe, so we want to know which countries played all the bowling World Cups since 1965. So if you have nothing to do at the office,
And you can hide your computer
and
screen
you can
from the
hide
boss.
your computer screen and maybe log in somewhere. So 13,
tomorrow.
yes, or yeah, also tomorrow. So we need to know the 13 countries, and actually you can use the Facebook side of QubicaAMF on the Facebook side, and let us know. So yep. So that was Julie here. She is also a long member of the organization team here of the QubicaAMF team. So who we have? The Mengistu, yes, is the Ethiopian player. Big Frals, unbelievable coach, bowler, great guy. Ah, okay, yeah.
I have to
Frale.
agree with you there, Tim, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, Big Frals, he's still a competitive player. He won a gold medal at the
Yes.
World Seniors Championships in 2015, or
So-
2017 maybe.
Yes, and I know he is big because I had the what is not opportunity to sit next to him on the bus from the airport to the hotel. He is big. There was not a lot of place
And
left
Rick,
for me.
you're not exactly small
no,
either,
I'm not
so
small. So
2 seats on a bus
yeah,
for a 45-minute trip from the airport, that would have been exciting for you.
yeah.
But a nice guy to sit next to all the same.
So Big Fro is yeah, that's a good name.
Big Frals, yeah.
Yeah.
That's been his name for a long time.
So then, okay, and I think there's New Caledonia. So that's more in Europe.
That's part of the
Yeah.
in the Pacific there,
Yeah.
yes.
Morning all. Come on, Chris from Wales. More celebrations needed.
That's from Steve Dalton. Welcome aboard, Steve.
So I hope that for Tisha Colado, it's I don't know from where. So it's always nice if you can just put from okay, hi, like a London calling, or this is Madrid calling. You know where you're from. So I hope the question of the oil pattern is explained. It is the oil pattern that was. I don't know if the oil pattern is been done. So we had the official. So I'm gonna take a small break. So whatever. Okay, we're gonna have Cliff. He is gonna do some talking. You can stay.
I can say, okay.
Yes, yes. He doesn't want to move because he has front.
It's a great
front
seat.
view. Yeah.
Do you want to? Okay, I'm gonna actually leave too. Thank you, Rick, for having me on.
It was a pleasure.
And we'll get to see you all again soon, I hope.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hello everybody again, and I Cliff.
How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you doing? How's the tournament running from your perspective?
It's going pretty well. It's conditions are a little tougher and tighter than they have been in the past, but I was talking to one of the bowlers and they said definitely an out of bounds, but the lane to lane movement, very little difference between the lanes, that it was a fair condition, and they really noticed that we put that we pay attention to the lengthwise ratio a whole lot, and if you look at the pattern you'll see that.
Yeah.
We put a lot of oil up front and have a very defined mid lane, so that gives a really good consistent ball reaction, but you do have to hit your target because it's a 2-to-1 type crosswise ratio that makes it
They seem to be playing different in the morning to the afternoon as well, to a degree. I mean, the boys were struggling yesterday, but they're okay in the afternoon squad today, some of them. The score seemed to have opened up. We're getting a lot more strings of strikes than we got yesterday. I'm not sure if that's the humidity, maybe.
Yes, not so much the humidity. It's definitely going to be the temperature of the bowling center. You know, a building like this, it takes a long time to cool it down. And we had that 1 degree where it was really warm outside. Even the hotel was warm that day, where the air conditioning just couldn't keep up. Today it's cooler. It's a lot better inside. And they have, when we get here in the morning, it is like an ice bucket. You know, probably,
first thing in the morning, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably Fahrenheit is probably around 60 degrees, so that'd be like 13, 14 C. Yeah, so it's chilly.
So how many tournaments have you done now then, the World Cup?
This will be my 23rd.
23rd?
23rd.
Which was the first one then?
The first one was South Africa in '93. Then I had with AMF, I had an overseas assignment. I missed one of the greatest ones, the one in Cairo, Egypt, on the mountains, on the pyramids.
Yeah.
Really regret missing that. I missed Portugal and Kobe, Japan.
I would have loved to have gone to Japan. Yeah.
So I missed 3 really good tournaments.
And if you had to pick one out of all of the ones you've been to, which was your highlight, would you say, or the best place you went to, maybe?
That's a very difficult question, because each tournament is unique to itself.
Yeah.
And there are highs and lows to each tournament. One of my favorite tournaments was the tournament in Toulon, France. It was also one of the most difficult because of the structural problems with the building.
Yeah, that must have been stressful at the time.
Well,
you lost a couple of days, didn't you, effectively?
We did. For the tournament managers, it was about, we couldn't use a full center, so we had to rechange all the schedules and go from a 32-lane center to a effectively 18-lane center or something like. I don't remember exactly how many lanes. Then we had to reduce the number of games and squad size, but that was the difficult part. The best part of it was we had a holiday resort that all of the bowlers stayed in, and having all the bowlers with their own small bungalows and their country flags draped outside the balconies.
That's cool, yeah.
And everyone eating together dinner, and it was just a fantastic camaraderie from so many different countries around the world.
And obviously you're not going to let us know where next year's is yet, are you? We're going to find out in the closing ceremony?
Certainly. That's always the big question, and it's always the big secret.
Actually, this year nobody's kind of been asking where they think it's going to be. Usually they're all predicting various places, but they've all been quite silent on it this year.
I think that's because everyone knows.
They maybe know. I don't know. But nobody's saying the word, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When are we going to get one in Europe again? That's what I want to know. It's been a while since we've been to Europe now. 2014, I think, last time.
You know, the World Cup was founded on I wouldn't say founded, but the World Cup, since a very long time ago, was about promoting bowling in places that were new to bowling.
Yeah.
So, and we still try to do that today. Like here in Indonesia, bowling is common, but not as common as a lot of places around the world. For instance, I think this is the only bowling center in Palembang.
Yeah.
So it's a relatively new sport still. So we try to look for venues like that have potential.
It's usually new equipment in it as well.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is that most centers today aren't this big. So
yeah,
you know, you don't find centers that are 40 lanes like this being built.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So
and the company's very busy with strings now. You're not doing many free fall like you were before.
That's right. That's a whole topic by itself. String machines, and
business is good though.
Business is good. I think eventually string will be good for bowling, and that it's going to put in more bowling centers, more people are going to bowl, and they're able to do that because it's more affordable to an investor.
Yeah. Yeah, they're making big savings out there with the strings.
Yeah,
not least on staff, but electric and.
It's across the board, the savings for string. Fewer moving parts, adjustments are much easier and tremendously less. It's like you have one adjustment to adjust the tension on the string, and that's pretty much it.
After sales kind of gets a kick in though, doesn't it, really, when you've got everything more simplified and there's not so many parts to be buying and stuff.
Well, that's the big savings to the proprietor.
Of course, as
is,
well,
is
yeah.
the spare parts usage.
And a new machine now, the edge string machine.
The edge string is our latest string pin spotter. It's replacing the TMS, which has been in the industry, I'm not exactly sure, but quite a while. And the edge string is really designed to reduce operating costs, whether it's electricity or staffing, having to have a very experienced technician, which is what you need for a free fall machine like any of those today.
Yeah, there's not many good techs out there anymore, is there? Not like there used to be. It's hard to get somebody to come in and they don't pay the wages like they used to do, I guess, in some senses.
Yeah, it seems like the younger generation is not as interested in the trade business.
Yeah.
In services, whether it's plumbers or electricians. Same with bowling center technicians.
Yeah. And can you tell us about any new products on the horizon at the moment? Are you allowed to tell on any? And
well,
they've always got tricks up the sleeve of QubicaAMF. There's always a new thing coming soon. Hyperbowling's obviously one of the latest ones.
Hyperbowling is it's further refined with new. They'll have new games for hyperbowling.
Yeah.
It is really, I tell people all the time, and that is from a purist, which I would consider myself a bowling purist. It's I originally thought of it as a video game. But that's what it was designed to be, like a video game that you actually...
Yeah, it's not bowling as we know it, is it? It's a whole new variation of it.
No, but once you play it yourself, so for all the purists out there that frown upon a video type or arcade type bowling game, before you pass judgment, bowl on it yourself. Once you bowl on it and play a couple of the games yourself, you'll realize that this is going to attract a whole different audience.
Yeah.
It's going to attract the gamer and the young generation,
which is the future, basically.
So the first step is you get them into the bowling center, even if it's hyper bowling. You get them to bowl and enjoy bowling and enjoy the competition. And there will be a certain percentage of those that want to take their bowling game to the next level.
Yeah.
And that's when you get them on sport bowling.
They'll come a different way to the sport than they used to do. I must admit, I played it myself, and it's a totally different skill set.
Yeah.
You could be a really good bowler, which I used to be when I was younger. I could play a little bit. But then it's all about the timing. It's all about, you can't be going four-step approach and all the rest of it. You kind of got to stand there, plant your feet, and wait for the bumpers to go to where you want them to be, and then hit it. It's definitely a target sport,
right,
on that side. Which I'm saying sport, and I think it possibly could be a sport within itself. I know it's a game and it's been designed as a game, but I could see people being competitive with it.
It is very competitive, and I was going to mention that it's really fun watching professional bowlers play these games.
Yes, they think they're going to do well, and
because then you see their competitiveness when they're bowling 10-pin bowling against each other.
Yeah,
and we all know. But as soon as you put a moving target, and you're trying to hit what would be the gutter, but you're trying to hit a moving target, that gets them really excited.
Yeah,
and they are competing against themselves as much as they are. Who they're bowling.
I would like to see it more played as kind of a competition thing, even if it's just like a separate, jump in, jump out event. A part of, say, we have a World Cup and then we have a little hyper bowl competition, and they can all have a go at it, and You know, we have a competition amongst it. That would be good.
If we go to a center that has it, that will definitely be one of the extracurricular activities.
Yeah, I think it's as you say, you come away from it a little bit more friendly towards the thought of it. If you went in there thinking, oh, it's just like an arcade game, all the rest of it, you come off of it enjoying it really, more than anything. I did anyway, and I've been happy to kind of promote it since. Basically, it's good, it's fun. I'd like to see what they're going to do next with it. Obviously, new games, and it'll be interesting to see where they go with it.
The potential for that is really amazing. And like I said, it's hard to describe. Once you bowl on it, you'll get it. Yeah.
It looks good as well, to be honest. I mean, the lights going down the lanes and stuff, it just gives something else to a centre when you see them all doing, various different things. It makes it all so colourful.
And then when that ties to our new pin deck lighting that's been out for a few years, where the colors match and you can coordinate light shows with it.
Yeah, centre punch.
It creates a real ambiance in the center.
So of all the products at the moment, which ones are the ones that are doing the best business, besides the strings, obviously?
Our scoring business is doing fantastic. It's supplemented with hyper bowling. Hyper bowling's our newest big product. So, QubicaAMF is really doing well.
I must admit, the first time I saw hyper bowling, I just looked at it and thought, game show. You could play it as a game show. You get these, one person's asking a question and the other one's bowling the ball, that type of thing, and then you have a second round where you've got the team one, where you've got to get more than the other side's bumper type thing, and then you could have a hyper shot at the end where it's the moving targets quite fast and playing for some big money. But I looked at it and I thought, I could see that on TV as a game show. It might be a new way to get bowling popular, sort of thing, because people are kind of boring with the overall score, and it's a long drawn out thing sometimes, but sometimes you need that just instant in and out kind of showing the sport in a different way.
Right. In the development of that, as with a lot of our products, we try to look at every segment of the market. We try to look at the customer profiles that come in, and how can the child, so you have a family come in, husband, wife, two children, and how do we keep each one of them engaged in the game? And so when you have a family bowling, the mother and the father are going to be a lot better than the children are. Some cases anyway.
Not always, yeah.
So the games that are set up that have handicap built in, and predictive handicapping.
Okay.
So it can see that a player is behind, and actually present bonuses and things to help that player catch up.
Yeah, levels the playing field slightly.
More than slightly. So it is constantly adjusting handicapping, trying to level the playing field so that all participants are engaged. Whereas in a regular 10-pin game, as you know, if someone gets a pretty good pin lead on you, you just want to go home.
Yeah. So, I know what you mean. Yeah, and it does fit really well with BestX as well, doesn't it? With the graphics of BestX and
Yep. All of the customization that you can do with BestX, and uploading your own photos where your image comes up on the screen as you're bowling.
And the lane chat as well. And there's some great products. How's the other products doing? Harmony and what else you got?
My part of the business is all of the aftermarket pieces, so I don't keep up. I of course know about our new products, but I do all the pins, balls, rental shoes, and of course all the spare parts and supplies. So
good business in all them still. Are people still taking the shoes, or are they edging away towards wearing your own shoes a lot more?
Well, that is really a European thing.
Yeah.
And it's really more of an English thing,
really,
than it is anywhere else in the world.
Right.
So, a couple of the big chains in the UK started allowing people to wear their own street shoes on the approach.
Yeah.
I can tell you when you come to Asia, even in the bowling center we're in, they don't like anyone on the approach, including staff, without bowling shoes on.
Right. Okay.
So if you look at all the lane marshals here, they're all wearing rental shoes in case they have to walk up onto the approach.
Yeah.
And that's pretty dominant throughout Asia. U.S. is somewhat the same. You won't find, I don't know of any centers that are allowing their patrons to bowl without bowling shoes.
Right. So what you're saying is the English are lazy. In essence, they'd rather wear their own shoes than the rental shoes.
There's a lot of downside to rental from a bowler perspective. So we've done numerous studies over the years and hired outside consulting firms to interview first-time bowlers, occasional bowlers, the people that bowl once a year or twice a year. And the number one response from the women, who are all, and this doesn't, it's not meant to be sexist, but it's usually the woman in the household that makes the decision on recreation like this. And their number one complaint about bowling is putting on the rental shoes.
Is that because they tend to not wear socks like men do?
That's one of the reasons. It's also they don't know whose foot has been in it.
Yeah.
They are more conscious of, is it clean, things like that. So if any of the listeners are bowling proprietors or bowling center managers, we can't stress enough to you how important it is for your rental shoes to look really good, to use sanitary spray, and to let the bowlers know that they're maintained.
Are the shoes a lot more comfortable than they used to be? Because they were like cardboard in the old days. When they were brand new, they were very sharp and very stiff. And then after a year or so, they were nice and soft. But then they started to get a little bit tatty. And
so there are two schools of thought, and the two schools of thought are: you buy a premium shoe, which we sell both the premium and our shoe is called the Smart Value shoe. So we have two lines of shoes. One is premium, all cowhide leather, very thick cowhide sole. It's modeled after the old traditional lens shoe from years and years ago that would last forever. And it is extremely stiff when you first get them. But they last a very long time.
Yeah.
We know that there's the other school of thought, and that is, I want a comfortable shoe, understanding that it's not going to last a long time.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, we came out with one that is like a trainer. So for the U.S. market, we call it a tennis shoe. Mm-hmm. And it's built like a tennis shoe. In fact, it is, we took the styling and the manufacturing of an actual tennis shoe and put a bowling sole on it.
Yeah.
So once we did that, it is a very, very comfortable shoe from the first time you wear it. But it's going to have a lifespan of 6 months, maybe a year if you're lucky.
Yeah, but they're reasonably priced to house shoes, aren't they? Even they're
about half
premium ones.
That's right. They're about half the price of the premium cowhide rental shoe.
Yeah. The pin sales good still? People still going for the original pins and the wood
pin sales are very steady. So pin sales are driven by the bowling center install base and lineage. Mm-hmm. So if bowling is doing well and centers are growing, our pin business is growing. But if it's a depressed economy like we had 2008, 2009, people don't bowl as much. And when people don't bowl as much, even the existing centers, they don't need to buy spare parts. They don't need to buy pins, or as frequently.
Yeah.
So for the business I'm responsible for, it really hurts in a depressed market.
Yeah.
So
you just got some scores come through for the first two games. Francois Lou leading still with is that 493?
493, yeah, for the for games 7 and 8. He started off the block with a huge 288 game. He had the front 10.
He did, yeah.
I didn't get I wasn't standing behind him, but I was standing off to the side of him, and something happened. I saw it when it left his hand. It's like, as soon as it said, that's not a strike. And, he left an 8 count, so.
Jassim Al-Sakir in second from Kuwait, and Christopher Sloan up now from Ireland into third place.
Past champion.
Yeah, and he made a big jump in Shanghai, if I remember. I think he was 22nd and went up to 4th or 5th in one massive block. But the scores seem to be a lot higher today than they were yesterday for the men. It was a surprise to see JJ so far down the list at like 36th.
Well, that's it. You bring up a good point, and I've seen, I've done this tournament many times, and one of my responsibilities is to oversee the lane conditioning, and watching the U.S. pros, they struggle quite a bit in the first block, and that's because they are not used to bowling in a field as varied as this.
Yeah.
So we have countries from around the world where bowling is very new, and they don't have the experience that JJ has, or anyone in the top 20 really. So it wouldn't be uncommon for one of the premier players to cross against a player that literally averages 150.
Yeah.
And we work really hard to try to mix the field up in the lane draw so that we don't put a bunch of high average players together with together and keep the lower average players together, because they'll just run away and dominate it. So we also want the lower average players to be exposed to the higher average players, and so the first goal is we want every player to bowl or cross against as many other players as possible for the World Cup experience.
Yeah.
So
it's about making friends, isn't it?
If
you come on your own, you kind of got to talk to somebody during the
right,
week.
Yeah. So, but going back to the lane conditions, they break down completely different than they would in the PBA tour, the women's tour. The lanes break down completely different. I remember watching Walter Ray Williams struggle literally every block of games, and it wasn't toward the end of the tournament that he was able to figure it out, how the lanes were breaking down.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think he made the top 8 that year.
I kind of joke that the Americans just give everybody a little bit of a start and then they catch up. But yeah, you're right. A bit lost on it because they're so used to playing in blocks where the players all break it down and open it up for everybody else. But as you say, they're crossing all over the place, spraying it all over the lane basically, and messing them up sometimes by the end of the block.
Right, and bowling with someone that averages 150, when you're accustomed to bowling with guys that average 220, 230 regularly, the pace of play is different. It's a little distracting, I think, for them.
Yeah, it can be. And the opposite for the other ones, it's a chance to bowl with somebody like Walter Ray Williams or Chris Barnes or just to be in the same room as them is enough, but then to play on the lane with them and then get a tap when they get a strike. It's like makes the year, doesn't it?
That's what makes the memories, and they'll remember it the rest of their life when they go home.
Yeah. I must admit, when I was a kid, I just wanted to play with the big boys and just to be close to them more than anything. I wasn't as good as them, and I never was going to be, but it was just nice to be around them. Get a wave there from the Mexican player. It's coming up to game 4 now, I believe. We should have some scores after 3 very shortly. It might be up on the board now, but Francois Lou was still leading. And as we said, Chris Sloan was making a run at it. Jassim Al-Sakir second. Sam Cooley up into 11th now. Last year's champion, had a bad first break in first block. But looking down the list, it looks like all the players that you would expect to be in the top half are kind of the cream rising to the top slightly.
Yeah, well, there's one exception to that, and that is JJ from the U.S.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't talked to the coach yet, but it looks like he is. He shot. Hate to say it, he shot 164 his last game. So maybe he's done better in the third game.
He started off brightly in this block, front 5, I think, and the game at the end was pretty good. But he's left himself a lot of work to do. I'm sure he will get up there, but
he's got enough talent where he can make up a bunch of pins, and the players ahead of him, while they're ahead of him right now, I think he's got the talent to easily make those pins up.
He should do. He's got the experience anyway. I think he basically said he wasn't executing the shots properly. You know, he wasn't 4 shots in a row weren't, you know, as consistent as they would normally be for him.
Right. Yeah, there is definitely out of bounds with the 2-to-1 pattern. So we've got probably 20 to 25 units in the middle, 10 to 12 units on the outside boards.
It's closer to a sport pattern, isn't it? Now it's kind of compliant with sport.
It's well within the sport pattern. Yeah.
I mean, it used to be a fairly easy condition. People kind of knew what they were getting, and it was the same each year, give or take. You know, the topography of a centre or the ambience or whatever. But they kind of played roughly the same. China might have been one that was slightly different.
And we've always tried to make not a crazy scoring pace. We've always wanted a shot making. You have to make your shot, but we wanted a fair pattern that's fair to all styles, whether it's left-handed, right-handed, you know, a stroker or a big power player. And we've done pretty well with that over the years. It's not always easy to get a variety of styles, and that is our #1 goal.
You've also had to adapt to the times, haven't you? And the equipment around you, the amount of different bowling balls, and how aggressive they are, and just the change in technology over the years is immense.
Most of it's been just adding more oil. Of course, it's the chicken and the egg.
Yeah,
we add more oil. The manufacturers find a way to either absorb it off the lane with balls that absorb oil, or put whatever type of grit in the cover stock to make it grab better.
Well, one of the best inventions I think QubicaAMF ever came out was the PBL. You know, when you had kickers before, and then you put some oil on the lanes, and then you put a bit more oil on the lanes, the ball wouldn't come back ever. If you were lucky if you got it back, and then luckily the PBL came in.
The PBL and
then that started to struggle in the end a little bit.
And the sure pick, sure pick ball returns up front. That's another one that was difficult.
Oh, now we're going back. Yeah, the sure picks.
So there's still quite a few customers using those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still supply parts for them?
Very. On the sure pick, I don't think there are any parts that we supply for it anymore. So the centers that have them,
Concept 90 as well. After that one,
the C90, yep, it's there are thousands of those lifts in the field, and we still make all those parts.
Is the new ball return kind of evolved from those effectively?
No, the new ball return
totally redesigned.
It is totally redesigned, and I'll tell you some of the big things that you don't see about it. From the outside, it just looks like a more modern style hood.
Yeah. But
behind that is energy savings. The motors only run when they have to run. They're slow speed, and there are numerous safety features.
Right.
People they've stuck their hand in a typical ball return before and have been severely injured. Children's, wanting to get the ball to come out and all. So there's a sensor so that if someone puts their hand in the opening, it shuts it down immediately.
Yeah, it used to be just like a little flipper.
Yeah, just to be
board thing.
Exactly, just a switch, a mechanical switch turned it
micro
off.
switch.
So there are numerous safety features in the new one, and with all of the regulations, it's driven us to be more safety conscious as a company.
Yeah. Few chats. Just talking amongst ourselves a little bit then. So when did you start with the company?
I started in '93. I'd only worked for the company for a few months before they asked me to go to South Africa
So what did you do before you entered the bowling world?
Well, I started the bowling world in '69. So as a bowler, as a junior bowler. And then I went to work in the bowling center and worked as a manager for a while, and then I got tired of working nights, weekends, and holidays as working in a bowling center.
With shift work, 7 days a week.
Everyone that works in a bowling center knows exactly what I'm talking about. You work all the holidays and you miss your family. And having a dinner with your family at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night is not in the bowling business.
Yeah.
If that bothers you, you need to find another business.
Yeah, it's not a Monday to Friday job, is it really?
Right. So I was looking for the Monday to Friday job. Then I went to work for a bowling distributor in Dallas, Texas. Worked there for quite a while. And then one day AMF called me and said, we'd like for you to come to work for us at our Century Lane machine factory in Colorado. So that's how my career with AMF started.
That was a fantastic machine, the Century 100. I used to love that machine.
I would like to know. I know it at one time was the most popular machine ever built. I tend to think it still holds that record. I don't know the numbers. And people say, "Oh, Cliff, you're just biased toward AMF products." But you have to remember, we had greater than 90% market share back then. And the reason I say more machines were sold is because there were thousands of more centers back then than there are today.
Yeah.
So the equipment made today from our competitors is really fantastic equipment. I've worked with both now. And both Brunswick and Kegel make fantastic machines.
They're just so big and expensive now, aren't they? Compared to, you've got the Easy Touch, which is...
The Easy Touch is, it was designed specifically for small centers and for recreational play. There is no, we don't try to promote it to anyone but small centers and centers with recreational play.
And just mainly to protect the lanes more than anything.
To protect the lanes. If the majority of your bowlers they're throwing house balls, and you don't have more than 16 lanes, it's perfect. I can teach somebody how to operate it in 5 minutes.
Can you get some decent lane conditions out of it though, for say pro bowlers? Can you put?
I tell you what, I can put out the World Cup pattern with that machine.
Really?
It'll take a little bit of adjustment, a little trial and error adjustment. It's not like programming a Kegel machine or one of our older Summits where you just download the program and you're pretty set to go. But with some mechanical adjustments, maybe an extra run of the machine, yeah.
And it's cost effective then. Effectively, it's a lot cheaper than these.
Yeah, it's a fraction. It's a
small
of the
car
price.
now. Is a lot of the other machines.
Right. Exactly.
In fact, how much are they now? The bigger machines are about 40,000 or something like that, between 25 and 40.
We don't sell those, but from what I understand, if you buy one of those machines with the long life battery, it's upwards of $40,000.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big investment now. Yeah. And how much is the Easy Touch on average?
The Easy Touch is about 11,000.
Yeah.
So a fourth the price.
Yeah. You can see why the people would go for it. And to be honest, a lot of the recreational centres, lane dressing is not high on the priority list sometimes, is it?
No.
You go to a lot of these string centres and they're a bit bone dry, the lanes, they're very lightly oiled, if anything.
Yeah, we encourage them to maintain their lanes.
Yeah.
Even if it's recreation.
Well, you've got to do when you've spent money on the SPLs and stuff, which you've got some good ones now. I like the coloured lanes. I'd love to play a World Cup on the white lanes or the blue lanes.
Yeah, I've never actually bowled on the coloured lanes myself.
I've been on the walnut ones, which look classy. When you see them in the boutique centres, they do look really classy.
Mm-hmm.
Very dark, and it's not what you're used to. But I like the blue and the white. I think they're unique. You don't see them that often, but they're really nice looking.
Yeah, they certainly provide a mood.
Yeah.
Give the atmosphere and a different mood to a center.
And I went to one centre in, I think, Preston in the UK, and they'd gone for the walnut and then the kind of normal lanes, and they'd gone 2 and 2 and 2, and it looked nice when you spread them across the house instead of just having like 6 and 6, and they've gone 2, 2, 2, but in the different colours, and it just made it look different.
We don't sell a lot of colored lanes, but in certain circumstances, it really works. It really works. You get an interior designer that has a vision of how they can incorporate that, and it really comes together and gives the establishment a unique appearance.
So So what you're basically saying is people still go for the traditional over all the other ones usually.
Yeah, usually, the investors, they think of bowling and they think of the maple and pine-colored lanes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a revolution as the plastic lanes from wood, though, and the installs you used to have to do, and nailing up the wood lanes to get into a centre, and it's a lot quicker now, certainly for installs.
A lot quicker for installs, and it's a lot less labor, of course. They last so much longer. Well, I say they last longer. Properly maintained synthetic lane will last about as long as a wood lane would last. And so you could get more life out of a wood lane, but the resurfacing crew every year or 2 years has to be very meticulous not to take off too much wood. And once again, those type of craftsmen, and a resurfacer is a craftsman. It's they're not around. They're not around. And there's fewer wood lanes, and younger generations just aren't looking for that type of
difficult
career.
to get hold of a super sander as well, isn't it, to level them, and those big machines that they used to have kicking around. And I remember when you got a resurface, they had it all plasticed up, and you couldn't get to it because dust would go everywhere if you didn't plastic up the approach, and then you had to lacquer them, and there's a lot of work went into the lanes. Now it's just flip a panel, and I remember the early days of plastic, people didn't like them. They played a lot slicker than wood, I think, initially.
They played different. The bowling balls weren't designed for them really at that time. They assumed it would play like wood. It sounds different. There is one downside to synthetic lanes, and that is topography. When you have a wood lane, the resurfacing company comes out every couple of years, and they put their super sander down and they adjust it, and they level the lanes to, when I was sanding lanes for a period of time, we would level the lanes to less than 10,000ths of an inch in cross tilt. And that would be every part of the lane from literally the foul line through the pin deck.
Yeah.
Synthetic lanes are completely different because that type of maintenance is not done. You don't have someone inspecting every foot of the lane every 2 years to make sure it's within specification.
Right.
And unfortunately, after the bowling center's installed, they may not be checked again for many, many years.
Yeah, and I guess after all, a new install after 2 years, they're going to move around a little bit.
Certainly.
For sure,
Yeah.
They're going to move around. Right, so we're just going up to halfway of game 4, I think.
Yep, game 4.
Have you any predictions of all the players that you've seen? Do you think it's going to be in the top 4 at the end?
Of course, I think the past champions are going to make it. I think the U.S. player's probably going to, he's going to make a run.
He's definitely going to make a run, yeah.
He's going to calm down.
Kelly's going to take some beating anyway, I think. Kelly in the females is going to take some beating.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. She wants this. She's never had a chance to play it.
She's going to be dishing it out or receiving a beating?
No, I think she's going to be dishing it out.
I think so too.
Yeah. I mean, it could come down to her against whoever, and she could lose it in one game. But other than that, no, I think she's the one to beat for sure. She's hungry for it. She's
hungry for it. You can tell she is extremely focused. She is very, very focused on it.
Yeah, a little bit like Shannon last year. They don't get. Well, she's won the trials before, but they didn't always send the player to the World Cup, so she'd never got the opportunity like Shannon last year didn't get the opportunity. She got one chance and she took it. And I think Kelly's pretty much the same this year. It's blinkered up. I'm having this. I'm going to take this. I've had a bad year, and this will make it all okay, sort of thing. But that's not to say a lot of the other girls are not going to give it a good fight, though, I think.
Yeah, just looking at the women's sheet here for the last block. Yeah, Malaysia, Omi, two-time champion. She's always up there. Runner-up the year after that.
The Korean's good. The Korean girl.
They're the Korean women's team is just amazing. Just amazing. They dominate in golf, and they can dominate in bowling as well. They have a very, very good sports mind, the women in Korea.
Which are the emerging regions at the moment then for the company? Have you still got new countries coming online all the time? And
well, it is. We've covered pretty much around the world, so now it's about getting past that threshold where bowling becomes popular in those countries. So we've got installations pretty much everywhere we want. There can be an installation. So we'd like to be able to break that threshold for bowling to become mainstream. Mm-hmm. When bowling becomes mainstream, then it's really good for all of us. Some countries like that would be India, the Eastern European countries. They're all ripe for bowling becoming mainstream. It also has to become affordable, and the residents of those countries have to be able to afford recreation like bowling.
Yeah. I always think it's in the top 3 or 4 of things to do if you're a family. You go to the cinema, or you go for a meal, or bowling's, it's in the top 5. It doesn't take long to get to, let's go bowling. It's always been a popular thing. I think it's coming back in a big way the last few years. The PBA seems to be doing well now, getting it more on TV and getting it into the people's psyche again. And it's all the chains in the UK, for instance, are doing good business.
They are, and the well-run centers that are progressive and that look at things like string machines and recreation bowling, and they have good marketing, and they are doing extremely well. We see it with the Bolero centers in the U.S. as well. Yes, there are some pockets that they, for a variety of reasons, whether it's real estate value or other reasons that aren't directly related to their business, they have to close some centers. But they're also building centers.
Yeah.
And the new centers they're building are just fantastic.
What's the biggest centre QubicaAMF have ever built in the last few years? Lane number wise?
The biggest one in my time with QubicaAMF actually is with AMF. Was the 100-lane center we built in Beijing.
Yeah?
100 lanes, 1 row, no poles.
Wow. You need a skateboard or a motorbike to get from one end to the other.
You go into a 100-lane center and look from lane 1 to lane 100 in a row. And
what we got here, 40, so it's double this and then some.
Yeah.
And then another 20. That's big. That's big.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to work there.
No, can you imagine? You must have teams of techs.
Yeah.
Down on lane 1, and then you've got to sweep down on kind of 96. You've got to get down there. It was always bad when I worked in a 30-lane centre, and we had the workshop on just at the side of lane 1, so you dreaded any time 29 or 30 came in, because you knew you had to run all the way down and all the way back. But it kept you fit, I must admit, it kept you fit. So when was the last time you worked on machines that side? You must have done everything over the time. You've done management, but you'll have worked on machines as well.
The last time I turned a wrench on, and actually it wasn't on AMF machines, the center I worked in was Brunswick Jetback Center. That was built in the 50s.
Wow.
So that would have been like 1984.
Yeah.
That was the last time. It would have been before that, because I was in management at that point. So it'd have to be, probably 1979, that area, since I actually worked on.
Wow, long time. All right. What's happening on the lanes in front of us? The German guy seems to be going okay now.
Yeah, we should be getting results from game 3 here. No.
Yeah, you get talking away and then you forget about what's going on the lanes. You're hoping that people tell you what's going on. We haven't had any big shouts for a while, so the scores look like they're calming down a little bit. We did start with quite a few big games initially. On the chat. That's it. AMF machines now. That's gone a bit quiet on the chat. Keep your comments and chat coming in. If you've got any questions for Cliff while he's here about products and all the rest of it, send them in. Where are you next? Are you back home to the States?
I'm back home. I get home the day before our Thanksgiving holiday, so that's the biggest holiday we have. So it's a big event.
He's still doing a fair bit of travelling with the seminars and things.
Don't do so many seminars anymore, but I do a fair bit of.
I know I've been to a couple of yours over the years.
I visit our distributors around the world quite a bit, and of course I have to go to Bologna, our Italian headquarters, frequently for different meetings and sales meetings and things.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on a few of your seminars. I find them quite interesting. I like the pin one, when you did one about the pin and showed all the videos of where they're actually made and the differences between different companies' pins.
Yeah. I just, funny you mentioned that, I just showed Marios, our technical delegate here. He was asking about if we had a pin video. For our listening audience, yes, we do have a pin video. Unfortunately, it's proprietary. So the only way you'll be able to see that video is if you attend one of our seminars or get a personal demonstration from someone like me.
I wanted to put it online, and no, you're not putting that online. You got to come to a seminar to see that little gem. But I found it was really good, that video. I loved it. It's nice to see the background of how the pins are made, and you don't realise how much work goes into them, really. And the quality of the wood that actually goes into them, it's not cheap wood, is it?
No.
It's well-sourced wood.
It is furniture-grade hard rock maple.
It has to be, doesn't it?
It's furniture-grade. I mean, you see the trophy bases that we made for the World Cup.
Yeah.
That is the exact same wood we make a pen out of.
Oh, okay.
So it is gorgeous wood, and it is very hard. And of course, you need something like that to make a bowling pin out of.
Yeah. How do you see the evolution of pins? Is that it now? You've perfected that pin. Is there going to be any tweaks to it to make it any different or better, or?
The only thing with the pins is finding manufacturing techniques that keep the cost low. We've done a lot of automation. One of the things that we did a few years ago with the help of the state of New York is to put in scanning equipment. So we have scanners that actually scan the wood as it comes in. It identifies where all the knots in the wood are, and then it automatically tells our saws where to cut the wood to get the maximum usage out of that piece of lumber.
Okay.
So before we would have like a grater, they're called graters, and it's literally it's an expert in wood that looks at the piece of wood and marks it with a crayon. And then it's manually, when it goes to someone at the saw, they would manually cut it based on where his mark is. And of course that's expensive and slow and not very efficient. With the electronic scanner, which looks like a medical MRI machine where it goes through and scans the board, it's literally a fraction of a second. And the board is marked, and it automatically goes to the saw. The board is automatically cut without any human intervention.
Wow, that's clever.
So it's doing more things like that to make it more efficient. If you were to take that pin and take it to like a carpenter or something and say, make me something like this, the cost would be 4 or 5 times as much.
Yeah.
So the automation is really critical. As well as the wood supply. Wood supply is based on the furniture market. So, I mentioned that it is furniture grade maple. Well, if the interior designers and decorators, if this year is like we want all the kitchen cabinetry, the end thing is maple cabinets, then the cost of maple goes up, the quality of what we're able to get goes down. So it is And that's a big price driver.
Have you had many years where that's the case, where it's been difficult to source it? Or?
No, not too much. It hasn't happened in probably more than 10 years. So, but we do keep a large stockpile of maple on hand because the price does fluctuate quite a bit. So when the prices are low, we buy, we fill up on our stock of raw material maple.
Yeah. Interesting. What's Rick doing here? We're just coming up to the end of the game then. We should get some scores. We've still not got the scores after 3 yet, but I think we've got them on the board behind us. Francois Lou still top with Jassim Alsucker in second. Oliver Morrig up into third now. So the Germans made a run, but he's a good 6 pins a game behind on a 214 average, and second is 220. Chris Sloan up into fifth, I think. So it's all changing round. Question there, will all the PBA events eventually be held exclusively at AMF Bolero centres in the future? It's not something I don't think we can answer.
No, I can. They have had a press release.
Oh, have they?
Of course, for our audience, there is absolutely no connection between Bolero and QubicaAMF. And
yeah.
There hasn't been in quite some time. That goes back
Centers is a different company now.
It actually goes back to around 2005 when we merged with Cubica. So it's been a long time since AMF bowling products and AMF bowling centers there was any sort of relationship there. So that's all long gone. But Bolero announced in, I don't think it was the Bowlers Journal cyber report. They said that they had at least this year no intention of changing the schedule, and I think they will. I think they're gonna honor that.
Yeah, there is certain centres that the traditionally PBA centres aren't there.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So,
is there ever going to be a time when QubicaAMF go back into the ball business?
Which business?
The ball business, making balls.
Making balls? I don't think so. That is now that is so foreign to us, and I was part of the division of AMF at the time, and we had the AMF branded balls, and we contracted the manufacturing out to Colombia. It is a big marketing machine to be a ball manufacturer. The lifespan of a ball, as all the bowlers know, is 3 months, maybe 4 months.
A lot shorter than it used to be.
So there's huge inventory risk when you're doing that. If you have a bad ball, you pretty much have to eat or scrap all of those balls.
You mean like the AMF white ball that came out?
The white one?
The white one, the XS.
I have a great story for you about the white ball, because I was working in Asia at the time, and I was with our distributor in Korea, and AMF had stockpiles of these white balls that they couldn't sell. And if you ever saw one of these balls, you'd know that the first time you throw it down the lane, it starts to turn black.
Yeah.
Which looked great when it was pristine and never been bowled with, but as soon as it was bowled with, it was worse than a dirty snowball.
Yeah. So it turned black, and that was the only turn it got on it. It wasn't a big hooking ball either.
So our distributor said, "I'd like to buy all of your white balls, the XS." And that's like, okay, why do you want these? And he goes, "I got an idea." And so sure enough, he buys pallets and pallets and pallets, thousands of balls from us at fraction of the price.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like $15, $20 a ball. So it was like nothing. He took that ball and dyed them red. Dyed the ball red, called it something new, but all he did was dye it and sold it at a huge profit.
Really?
It's like, what a clever idea.
How would you dye a bowling ball? Just stick it in dye?
I don't know how he did it, but I saw the ball and I knew he sold them.
Wow. So if anybody out there in the world has got a red XS, we'd love to see it.
Yeah.
That's a good story. Yeah, that was a terrible ball, let's be honest.
That would have been 1997. That would have been 1997 he did that.
But the company did make some really good balls over the years. I remember the Gold Angle was a you know, the ball to have at one stage, and the black angle as well.
That was my go-to ball when I was competing. The black angle.
I even had the grey angle for my spares.
I used the grey angle a lot as well. Never could throw the gold angle though.
Yeah.
Too much hook for me back then.
And then some of the good balls came out, like the Ninja and the Sumo. People still love the Sumo and Ninja. Yeah, they did make some good balls, did the company, over the years.
The Ninja ball was one of the, well, it was the top selling ball in Asia for helicopter players.
Yeah?
Yeah, they were still asking for it. It was made a little differently. The core was shifted down so that where you would normally have like a pancake weight block or something under the grip, the whole core was just shifted down a little bit, so the cover stock was a little thicker where the center of gravity was. And the helicopter players felt like it was more consistent spin.
Right, okay.
So
we have got some love for the XS. I loved my white XS, says Dana. Yeah, I don't remember too many people saying they loved their XS. It looked nice for, like you say, for about half a game, if that.
Right, yeah.
It was like, let's have a white ball. Oh, doesn't it look nice? And
so do you remember the Ultra Angle?
I do remember the Ultra Angle, yeah.
The first ball with track flare.
Oh, yeah.
So it had track flare, and everyone, including myself at the time, considered that a defect. You know, track flare, it wobbles going down the lane. It's no good.
No, yeah. Look how it went. Yeah. Yeah, they're still. I think AMF balls are still made, though. I think.
AMF balls are still made. They're made by 900 Global. So
we don't get them in the UK, so we've not heard of any AMF balls for a long time.
Yeah, they make those under license from us, so they're responsible for the distribution, marketing, everything about the brand for AMF. The brand name is AMF 300. So
yeah, AMF 300. Yeah. See if we've got any more questions then before we let you go, Cliff. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, the Power Up Slam, great AMF ball, says Dana.
Oh yeah, the Power Up series. So I'll give you the backstory behind the Power Up series. This would have been in the late 90s, and AMF at the time had got a little bit tired of the ball launch sequence of every 3 months, and we would have to give our international distributors like 2 months notice, and word would leak out, and then they would try to get the international market to ship balls into the U.S., the gray market going back to the U.S. And so at that time they wanted to launch 4 balls for the year and launch them all at one time. And each ball in the Power Up series did something a little different. So I don't think it worked out that well from a marketing point of view and a manufacturing point of view, because we took our entire year production or our entire year launches and put them into one launch, and then 3 months later they were dead. So instead of having a sequential and have one die and then the launch of a second one and it die. So we weren't the greatest there at the end of launching balls, and it's really hard when you aren't manufacturing the balls yourself and having a contract manufacturer do it for you, whether it be Ebonite or Columbia. We both of those companies made balls for AMF in the day.
And house balls still popular?
Well, yeah, everyone needs house balls. Yeah, certainly. We had a little scare about 3 years ago in the house ball. There's only 3 companies that make house balls. There were a couple in China that went out of business right away. So one of the factories moved from, one of the big house ball factories moved from southern China to Taiwan and didn't make the move. The move was much more difficult than they expected, much more costly, and the owner literally gave up on it and closed the business down. The other large manufacturer in China caught fire.
All right. So there was a shortage for a while.
Yeah, there was a big shortage, and that literally left Brunswick making house balls out of Mexico, which for them it's difficult because they're making premium balls in the same factory. So which one do you make? Do you make the house balls or do you make the premium balls? And then
every
third,
needs them.
there was a third manufacturer in China that came up, and they're literally dominating the house ball market today.
Right.
They make a great product, great ownership. Some people have a stigma about things made in China, and I'll tell you that there's a lot of product coming out of China that's subpar, but there's also a lot of good product, and there are a lot of good businessmen there, and you'd be surprised at what they can do. There is some responsibility for anybody that buys from China. Being a manufacturer, and I deal with Chinese manufacturers quite a lot, and that is we have to measure everything that we have them make. And it's not that they are bad people or intentionally have bad quality, but it is in their culture. You know, having lived there for a while, the culture there is if someone asks me to make something and they aren't concerned enough to tell me how to make it in a certain way or make it out of a very specific material to a very specific tolerance, and they don't think it's important to check it, it must be okay that I can make the change myself.
Right, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So if the Chinese factory knows that you need it made a very specific way and you're going to be checking it, they'll make it that way. And of course, when you add those layers of quality, layers of inspection, and when we receive the product, we inspect it in our lab. When you do all of that, it adds cost to it. So then now you're looking at, should I make it in, I'll use our examples, Italy or the US, or should I make it in China, based on all the cost of ensuring quality coming out of China. And in many cases, it's more reasonable to make it in our home country than it is to outsource it. But in other cases, it makes more sense to outsource it.
Yeah.
So, but you have to build in the quality into the design, build in the quality with inspections, and work very closely with the supplier.
Yeah, I remember going to one of your seminars not so long back, and extra bevel on your balls, isn't there, to make them extra smooth and no cuts or anything?
Yeah, that is
a bigger bevel.
I do have a patent in my name, and it is the big bevel patent.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
that's claim to fame then. You heard it here first, folks. The big bevel on the bowling balls in house balls in AMF now came from Cliff.
Yeah, I can't claim the idea of big bevel. When I was in Texas working for a bowling distributor, one of the big proprietors in the Dallas area, his name is Phil Kinzer, came up with the smart ball system.
Yeah.
That would have been in the 80s sometime, I would say. And he came up with a smart ball system, which is a system to identify the weight ball. So all the balls are color coordinated with a specific weight for color, and then marking the grip size. So there's a fitting ball at the front desk. You put your hand in it. I'll say, oh, I need a medium grip. And then the front desk person could say, okay, go to the ball rack. See the orange balls? That's the weight you need. And look for a medium grip. So there wasn't this hunt for an Easter egg looking for the right ball with the right grip. And one of the things he came up with is novice bowlers, if you're bowling for the first time, they squeeze the ball. That's natural instinct that you have to squeeze the ball to hang on to it.
To keep hold of it, yeah.
So, you know, if you have the balls drilled for you, you don't have to squeeze it. You can hold it by your side indefinitely.
Yeah.
But a house ball is completely different. So let's drill this house ball with a lot of forward pitch and put a big bevel on it, because if you put a lot of forward pitch in the ball, it's going to leave a sharper edge. And let them hold it like they would be holding a suitcase. And make it a comfortable grip, not such a good grip for, you know, shooting 230.
Yeah.
But a comfortable grip that the bowler won't be discouraged by rubbing blisters on their hand or their hand hurting when they're bowling. So he came up with a big bevel in the smart ball system. He was contracting consulting with AMF at the time, and the way they were producing the bevel was with just a hand sander. To get the bevel with a hand sander, it takes about 3 discs of sandpaper, and it takes about 1 minute to 2 minutes per hole.
Yeah, and then you've got thousands of balls to do.
Then you got thousands of balls to do, and they're all inconsistent.
Yeah.
And if you stay in the ball too long underneath the cover stock, it digs a groove in the ball into the hole. And so I came up with a way that I can do it in about 10 seconds. And so the patent is on how it's done, not that it is done.
Does that make you a rich man?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, man.
No.
Diana says, actually, I know Filkins, a small world.
So where are you from, Dana?
I'll get an answer back in a second. What was the factory surface of the AMF Black Angle? Says Leaf Skejad.
You know, I couldn't tell you, but if I had to guess, it would be probably like a 400. It had a dull surface on it.
It did, yeah. You could polish them up, couldn't you? But
Yep. I think, and at one time, I think they did come polished or unpolished. But that's been too long ago. That was one of my favorite balls to throw, though. My favorite of all time was the yellow dot, though. I had most of my high scores.
A lot of people
with
like the yellow dot, yeah. And most people started with a white dot, but the yellow dot was you could hook a yellow dot.
Yeah,
you could get a fair bit of hook out of one. And where are the Swedes? Says Vesku. No Swedes this year. No Swedes last year. They've not been entering for the last 2 years, concentrating more on the World Championships and the Euros.
They've got a tight budget.
Yeah.
So you're picking things. So they're picking the World Championships where they can earn the points and.
Yeah, I know Jenny Wegner wanted to come back and probably fund herself to do it, but wasn't able to. But we will see the Swedes back at some point, I would
certainly
think. But we should wrap this up now and let Rick back on. I've got to go do some social media work.
Yeah.
Get carried away chatting. In fact, we could bring Rick on. You can continue. Rick, do you want to come back on? I've got to disappear, but you can. I've got to disappear, but you can talk to.
Yeah, that's Yasmin of Singapore is here. She didn't. So she's walking somewhere. She's now behind the stove.
Okay.
So. If you want to have a break. Yes, the ears are. Yes. Hi, this is Rick back again. That was a very interesting, interesting conversation. So
yeah, thanks for Cliff for coming on.
Yeah, Cliff, thanks.
And we'll have him again at some point, hopefully, if he's not busy.
It was all about bowling balls from the past.
Bowling balls, yeah.
Bowling balls from the past. So what we got actually is Francis Lowe still in the lead in first place. Then we have Kuwait in second, Korea in third. So it's all an interesting development. So we'll aim at 300 kilometers. So we have here in front of us the Netherlands. So now we're gonna try to get Yasmin from Team Singapore, that's here as a visitor, to come on and join us. So Dom is going to try to get her. So we will talk a little bit with her and talk a little about the setup, what they have there in Singapore, the sports school, what they have there. Oh, somebody just knocked against the table. That's not what it's supposed to be. So if you just, not an earthquake, it was just somebody that passed by and knocked it. So yeah, the girl of the Netherlands did very well. She's placed in inside the top 24. It's a little different story on the men's side. So we're just looking at some scores here. So yeah, keep on going with the questions or a remark. So yeah, I was told that the Swedish bowling association. Yes, correct. The Swedish Bowling Association, of course, you have to remember they have a very big schedule and a very full schedule. And of course that also has to be paid for. So yes, they for a few years now I think they are not coming to the World Cup. So it's for them a loss, of course, because it is a great tournament. So after 4 games we have Francois leading from South Africa, I just mean from Kuwait. What I said before, Germany up in 4th place. So Danny of us is from Latvia in 6th place. So I was just looking for what's going on with some of the nearby. So Malta just dropped out of the top 24, I think. No, not yet. In 21st place. Just had during the break. I had one 168 and a 18, but again at 200. So 20th place, 21st place, still hanging in there. So he knew so from Holland, Miguel Stienesen is in 29th place, but only 20 odd pins away from the cut. So again tomorrow the men will start again. So let's see, the John Janowicz is 30th place. Still has to recover something. He bowled some good games, 220 only, and then the second a little bit low, 164, then 203 and 244. But still in 30th place. His first set was what we can say horrible. You should get some binoculars, Rick. It's Selwyn. Okay, yes, it's European time again. Yes, he is right in front of us. It's normally we have from Holland or the Netherlands, or however you want to call it, always some very strong bowlers. The girl did very well this morning. So for her first tournament, 23 years old. So she is in, if I'm not mistaken, she is in Where is she? Well, somebody can tell me, because I have here now so many papers laying around. But for sure she's in the top 24. She played a good series this morning. So maybe I have to get some new glasses, but and this is gonna be okay.
No comment. No comment. No comment.
All right, so
you want me to talk into this thing? Huh?
yes, you'll love that. Okay, so now we will put this up for, if you can come a little bit to
Little
here.
closer.
Yes, so we can. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you're gonna pay me back for this one. I know. This is the camera. Ladies and gentlemen, next to me on the table, one of the biggest men of QubicaAMF, Roger Creamer. He is been with QubicaAMF for how many years?
Forever.
Forever. So I know it all started when it was still AMF. So you know that's.
I think I first
be
started
fair.
to work for IMF in 1969.
1969.
Yeah, I had a year with them in a bowling centre. I didn't like them and they didn't like me, so we parted company after 1 year. But I went back to AMF again, I think in, I guess 1982, something like that, and I've been there pretty much ever since.
Yeah.
A couple of years sabbatical when I was with the WTBA.
It's like
the sort of thing a teenager does, but an idiot
yeah,
my
but
age
it's,
shouldn't
but
have
it's
done.
we always coming back.
Actually, we didn't really go away. We just hid around the corner for a while.
Yeah, it's been it's like you know, I started with at Heineken Trans World Bowling you know,
Yeah,
that's
I remember
Bowling
that.
Netherlands.
Yeah, I remember
with
that.
Bram Mesmans
Yeah.
and my boss Wim Sasse. His son is here coaching
Yeah.
Catalonia. Michael Sasse.
Yeah, but Michael's a little bit taller than his dad, huh?
Yeah.
In fact,
So then-
Michael's a little taller than everyone.
So I went to Germany, worked for the other company. Then I came.
Who we won't mention.
Then I came back again, and then I went to work for some other independent companies in the States, but still working closely with AMF. At that time with Cubica, with the AMF equipment. Then they joined together.
Yep.
And here I am again.
And the rest is history.
Yes, and the rest is history. So it's always nice to even this morning we had some other people on and telling the history and what they are doing. It's, you know, and it all comes here together at the QubicaAMF World Cup. We see so many people started as bowlers, then became coaches and presidents and whatever. So it's always nice.
We do indeed.
Yeah,
And
so
you know, if you track this event through, that really is the history of sport bowling.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's
It is. They can call any event World Cup, European or Asian, whatever. This one has in Holland we call it a gouden draad, a golden ribbon all the way through history.
Yeah.
And actually in the last couple of years, what I can see as well, it became very competitive. The competition, the quality of bowling is increasing. So we talked about lane conditions and this, you know, we stepped away a little bit from, you know, put out a sport condition that's fair for everyone. It's for the.
Well, you know, I think I prefer this sort of condition.
Yes,
you know, I've seen
it's
World
fair.
Cups going back a few years ago in Russia, Krasnoyarsk, when we had like 16 perfect games.
Yes.
I don't think if 16 perfect games can be bowled in one tournament, then the game is too easy.
Yes.
And the game is not that easy.
No, it isn't.
So the only way you can make it that way is either by putting a lane condition out, making sure the lane is leveled in such a way within the legal limits, of course.
Of course.
That you can create high scores, but I don't think it's particularly good for the game.
No,
Here, if you get a perfect game here in this week, it's going to be tough.
Yes.
What do we had? The South African guy had 288 and 290 and within 3 games of each other. He's bowling extremely well.
Yes.
No one's helping him. That's his skill.
He's on a mission.
Yeah, absolutely.
He said on the live stream, he said, look, in 2015, I came second. I was bowling good then. Yeah. I lost against a player from Hong Kong. And he said, this I want to do one better. He said he's on a mission. And as what we talked about it as well, because of the lane conditions, that you have the let's say the A player, has to have a completely different game plan that they play in Europe, the EBT tour, or on the United States, the professional tour. Yeah. The lanes break down completely different. And you can see there is no we go to the left or in front of the ball return and whack it out to the right and it will come back. No way. It is, you have to really speed sensitive, and there is no, let's say, big margin in the back to get to the pocket. Yeah. And that makes it fair for everyone.
But I have been surprised at the number of times that some of the really recognised very good bowlers here seem to be coming along quite nicely, and then all of a sudden 120, 130, and you think, where did that come from? Yeah. And then they go back to where they were. So, and I've seen it a couple of times, not only today but yesterday as well, where I'm looking at the sort of spreadsheet of scores at the end of the day. And thinking, how did that game get in there?
Yeah, yes, it is just and
I've heard no one say there are bad pairs. I haven't heard
it is not that. And
exactly.
And
I have that criticism of that.
The topography of the lanes are pretty consistent, because I heard only Kelly Kulik. I asked her what she was thinking, and and she said, the left plays a little bit different than the right, but that has to do with the amount of games that have been played on the surface. She said, other than that, she loved the middle. I said, because that makes sense, because or they're going to bowl on the right, on the left, so probably the middle doesn't have a lot of games on it. Other than that, she said there was not a lot of difference between the pairs itself. So.
And I heard that pretty much coming, in the official practice a couple of days ago. That they were impressed with the consistency.
And as well, there was I can say yesterday. Everybody was for yesterday they had to start. Probably few of them quite a bit under pressure. Butterflies are gone now. Scores went up today as well, ladies and men. I think it also has to do with the air conditioning and the environment, because it's a little cooler in here today. Yeah. It's also not so humid outside, so that can also help a lot. And it doesn't matter what kind of oil you have. Humidity and temperature always plays big parts in scoring condition. Doesn't matter what we're using. So you went back to QubicaAMF. You were also AMF England. You were running Cubica of the AMF side in England.
I was in bowling centre operations till 1982. No, in fact, beyond 82, 86. I rejoined AMF for the second time in 1982. And we went through a modernisation program in the UK that really fueled quite a big growth in the business. I think when I went with AMF in 82, there were 52 bowling centres, I think, in the country, of which AMF owned and operated 18 of them. So a third of all the centres were theirs. And then we started the modernisation program, changing the way the bars looked and updating the food offering and that sort of thing. And that had such an effect that, 1982 we had 52 bowling centres. In 1990 we had over 200.
Yeah.
And that growth was fueled by AMF's success with that modernisation program. New chain operators came along. Chain operators that are still there to this day. Then I switched from bowling centres, bowling centre operations in 1986 to the sales. It was shall we say, a career opportunity.
Okay. Yes.
My boss in the bowling centre operations was only, I think Brian was about 4 years older than me. So, and the chances of me ever having his job was pretty remote. And an opportunity came along to move out of bowling centre operations to product sales.
Yeah.
In 1986, and it was probably the best career move I could have made. I was lucky enough to get the job. I competed with a couple of other people within the company for that job. But the bowling centre business, or in terms of selling new centres, between about 1970 and 1985 was just non-existent.
Yes,
there was nothing.
It just goes like in a yo-yo effect.
I think there was one centre. I think the first commercial centre to open in the 80s was probably a centre using used AMF equipment, fortunately, in Lincolnshire. And that was the first commercial centre open in the country for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I came along in 1986 with 52 bowling centres in the country, and by the time we got to 1990 there were, as I said, over 200.
Yeah.
And fortunately AMF had the lion's share of that in the UK. We had about 2/3 of the market, so I moved at the right time and everything just took off. I remember, I think it was probably 1989 or maybe 1988, we installed 1,300 lanes in 1 year.
Wow. Yeah, that's a number.
Yeah, it's a big number.
That's a big number, yeah.
And in fact, I remember my boss, who was very much associated with the World Cup, Ben Peterson, taking me into his office in the early 1990s and said, "Okay, we've got through 200. How do we get to 250? And I'll be absolutely honest, I said, "Ben, I haven't got a clue." Because we didn't have then what we have today, which is the internet.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
So where did you go for the next investor?
Yes.
It wasn't that easy. We got to 200. There were 2 or 3 chain operators, well established. But in those days, you almost flipped a coin as to where you would put your investment into trying to get new people in. But of course the internet changed that.
Yes.
Someone coming into the bowling business now, they just don't come into it unless they've seen something on the internet, or they've done research on the internet, whatever.
We spoke a little bit about it here this morning. The equipment that QubicaAMF has now is much more orientated for those entertainment centers. It wasn't that in the old days. Old days, if you can call it the old days. But
it was in the old days. It was the same for everybody.
You had
pretty much. You go back to the say 2000. You have a bowling lane. No matter whose it was pretty much the same. You had a machine. If you preferred one that was more electronically operated, and you chose AMF.
Yeah.
And if you wanted one that was more mechanically focused, then you chose the other guys.
Yeah.
But there was nothing, like the current scoring systems with so much entertainment in there.
Yes.
But and I say what I'm going to say next. With my background in sport, I think the obligation of QubicaAMF to its customers is to produce something that helps get people into their bowling centres.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think we've done very well in that, and in fact it's what's made us clearly the biggest bowling company in the world.
That's what I'm trying. It's not anymore the red pin and it's the whole package.
Exactly. But I take the view that if we do our job, if we produce product that encourage people to go bowling more often, it then is the operators and sport bowling, whoever controls sport bowling, to take it beyond that. Unfortunately, we're seeing a situation where, because there's so much entertainment value in bowling these days.
At the moment, yes.
That we don't see many proprietors actively trying to create competitive situations, leagues, tournaments, whatever. Now, I think there's a number of reasons why it's more difficult than it used to be, because we all live completely different lifestyles to those that we used to lead years and years ago. When you and I would commit to 32 weeks in a row, people can't commit to that, and I think bowling didn't see that coming quickly enough. And I don't think sport bowling really adjusted, formats, lengths of seasons, the way you do things. At the end of the day, there's only going to be a few champions. The rest of the people that are competing because it's good fun, which is pretty much the reason why people go out on a Saturday night bowling, because it's good fun.
Yes, it is.
I think it's down to the federations, specifically now World Bowling, and maybe we're going to see something different coming out of World Bowling in the coming months and years, because they have a new CEO. He's an English guy. He used to be a professional cricketer.
Yes, I read about it. Yes, he is now head of the
Andy and I speak.
PR.
In fact, Andy and I were speaking 20 minutes ago about a little presentation we're trying to get together. We're trying to work somewhat closer with World Bowling than we have done in the past. We're certainly going to be working with them on shaping the future of the World Cup, and I think by the time we get to next year's World Cup, I think that we'll start to see the effects of that. Because I think we've got to the stage of the World Cup. It's the biggest annual event in terms of participating countries.
Yes.
So what? That's what I said. So what? We've got to take it somewhere else. We've got to take it to the next level. We have this biggest event, but we're sitting here and saying we have the biggest event.
Yeah.
What else can we make it?
I think
that's what we really need to explore.
Yeah.
And I think doing that with World Bowling, when I believe World Bowling is going to be on a roll in the next few years, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Yeah. You have to choose your partners always.
Well, I think the ultimate success of sport bowling, it's got to be the federations that generate it. They're the only ones that really have.
Yes, but they also need a pool to create. Like we said, nobody is going to walk into a bowling center and say, "I want to be a league bowler." So it has to come from the open bowling side. And I think the tools that QubicaAMF has are much more wider and much more interesting to get those people inside the bowling. And for the competition bowling, it is just a switch.
See, I believe that,
and you have a tournament center just by switching the lights and all the other gadgets.
I think sport bowling hasn't had a good time in the last decade or more. What is now USBC membership is nowhere near what it used to be.
Correct.
When you had the ABC and the USBC.
But I don't think it's only bowling.
No,
because it is just the way of life we have now. With
exactly.
all the
exactly. But it doesn't mean to say people don't participate. They just don't participate in the same way that they used to.
No, but that is.
So
that
what
is,
do we do to need?
That
what
is
do we
with
need
everything.
to change? Yeah.
Yes.
What do we need to change to make us more relevant?
Yeah.
Because I still believe, and I've had this recently in the UK when I was involved with one of the biggest operators in the UK, one of the more successful operators because they've run a really excellent operation. Who suddenly realized that as successful as they were and as much as they grew from one year to the next, Monday nights and Tuesday nights are still slow.
Yes.
And no matter what they do, they're always going to be slow.
Yeah.
And they're coming back to the idea, well, hang on, we've got the lanes available, and it's not so much work for us to go out and promote leagues and teach people how to bowl properly and things like that. So you know, if a company is really interested in having lane occupancy as high as it can possibly be, I don't see any reason why a part of that occupancy shouldn't be by sport bowler.
Yeah,
To me, it makes no sense.
It should
sport
have- it
bowler's
should be a-
pound is the same pretty much as an open play bowler's pound, except he may not drink so much coffee or beer.
Yes, but it should still be again that whole package. It should be
Sure,
be a part of it. And yes,
Yeah.
and the Monday night and the Tuesday night will be ideal.
Yeah.
I can out of my let's say in the past it was when when Wim Sasse took over the bowling in Scheveningen as manager. The first thing that he wanted to do is get rid of the league that was playing on Friday night. He said, you know, this Friday night they can go to a Thursday night but not on a Friday night when open bowling should be. You know, he had his experience in Canada and the United States. Much recently, where I'm now resided in Malta, same the bowling proprietor as well. He said, look,
Eden Beach.
it's Eden Super Bowl. The Wednesday night was because they have the language schools. So those students rotate like every 2 weeks. You know, a plane goes and a plane comes. So, but they like to bowl on a Wednesday night. So he said, listen, I said, that league has to go. I said, I'm sorry, you can come on the Monday, you can come on a Tuesday, but that Wednesday night, you know, that has to be open bowling. So it has to go both ways. You know, they run a fantastic youth program during the summer. All the kids have free bowling from the island. They only have to fill in their email, register at the bowling center.
Oh, really?
Yes, every day they can download a coupon, 2 coupons. They come to the bowling, 2 free games, you know, and then the rest. So it's ideal. The kids are bowling. There are some people that give instructions from the federation, and that. From there we get the kids into the youth program, and then from the youth program we're going on. Because they can say whatever they want, you know. It's a 1 center bowling, but we already have a good name here in let's say in Europe. You know, that's from Malta. What was Sue Abela, of course, was the first one that took Malta on the map, but now we have the kids doing very well in Europe at the European tour. So yeah, we're doing good. We are one of the few that has a sports school for bowling, officially from the government. So it's a national sports school for football, tennis, and bowling is one of it. So we have a couple of students now that from 10 till 17 now that are coming up. So yeah, we're lucky. So it is everything is possible, but everybody, let's say, has to work together. You know, and I see with the equipment that they have now, you know, because the kids, they come in, they want to see the lasers and they want to see the hyper bowling with the new the way that they set up the bumpers. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's like a big, you know, big arcade game. They made it. But then again, what I said, if the league bowler comes in, whoop, switch, and there it is.
I know
exactly the same. And we did not, and we had not in the old days. So. The game is developed, but I think that for a proprietor, he has better tools in hand to promote it than in the old days.
Absolutely.
And what they say from what like you said, like in the USA, but the USA, you know, the membership went up. Yeah, but that was that's everywhere, because you see the kids with their PlayStation and you don't see the kids playing on the streets anymore like in the old days. Yeah, everything changed. So, but. That's why, like you said, you know, you have to look from where can we, you know, get it better for everybody. And I think it's look at what we did at the opening ceremony with just a few lights in the show. We made a whole show.
Sure. It's not so difficult. It isn't so difficult.
It is not difficult.
It's just, you know, give it a bit of thought. Try and put yourself in the, you know, if you're going to go out there and organise this, you know, try and put yourself in the position of the audience, because. You know, one of the things that still concerns me, and it's not so much at this stage of the event because we're going through a fairly lengthy qualifying stage, but what does worry me is that when we get to the finals, we don't always necessarily have a format that excites an audience. And I'm not talking about a bowling audience, I'm talking about an audience that know nothing about bowling.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
how can we make this a fun event? You know, they'll watch darts. They'll watch snooker, pool, football, You know,
that is a
and what's the thing we need to do?
that is a thing that I always that darts in the what was the last 10 20 years made a huge yes. And it's just
If I
darts.
had a second chance, I'd be a professional darts player before a professional bowler. That's for sure.
So yeah, I can understand what you said. To make it interesting, what can you do to make it for the viewing audience and bowlers or non-bowlers to make that a spectacle?
I think for sport bowling to is sport bowling ever going to have its same sort of participation levels it did maybe back in the 70s and in the 80s? Probably never, ever, ever. But I don't really see from the position it's in today that it can't grow. But for it to grow, it has to attract something other than those people that walk into a bowling centre to bowl.
Sure.
So it needs the sort of thing that we're doing. It needs television. It would make a monumental difference to the sport if it could get Olympic status. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And I know that World Bowling in the next few years will be working extremely hard on that, because they do. Andy Oram, their new CEO, is
it's the viewing audience that does it, huh?
Well,
I think they made a study of who is involved, but I think they went to the wrong. I think they used the wrong data.
Well, I think we've been trying for Olympic recognition forever.
Yeah, and let's see. Just sorry to interrupt you, but now suddenly there is a lot of stuff in records that's what's important. Celebrate these stuff. Okay, all right, okay. We're back.
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption, but go ahead.
That's okay. If all of a sudden bowling became an Olympic sport, with the worldwide exposure it gets because it's an Olympic sport, and the fact that it's awarded considerable amounts of cash by the IOC, that's the thing that probably the single biggest impact on sport bowling would be getting into the Olympics.
But don't you agree that if you're gonna go that way, that also the whole industry has to change a little bit?
Absolutely. Look,
I'm not talking about the
I had a meeting with Andy.
capital equipment side of it, but
everywhere.
What I can say, like
everywhere.
Nike bowling shoes and.
I had a meeting with Andy Oram before he became the CEO in Las Vegas, almost the last day in August, I think it was. And I sat down with Andy, having known the efforts that a lot of people have put into getting bowling into the Olympics over many, many, many years. And I said to Andy, first question, Andy, do you seriously think you can get bowling in the Olympics? And he said, that's not the first question. So I said, okay, so what's the first question? He said, does bowling want to be in the Olympics? He said, does bowling really want to be in the Olympics?
Yeah.
He said, because if they do, then it's going to be painful, because they are going to have to make monumental changes.
Yes.
Not only sport bowling itself, but then the suppliers of equipment into sport bowling.
I think
he said, I'll give you an example. He said, there is not a single bowling ball produced today that if bowling were in the Olympic Games, it could be used.
Yeah.
Not one. He said, not a single bowling ball. So he said, no, it's not a big deal to change it. He said, but what bowling has to recognise is at the moment there are too many things that don't comply with Olympic rules that would need to be changed, and it would need to be changed not only by sport bowling but its industry partners.
Yes.
So he said, and that's big changes. Now, if you can do that, bowling really has so much to offer.
Yes.
Because it's digitally recorded, much better than probably any other sport in the world.
Yes.
And he said it has a huge amount going for it.
Yeah.
He said, but you really need to put your house in order, and then you've got to make the right approach. He said, but if World Bowling and the industry is prepared to do that, he said, I am convinced that bowling will be in the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles.
Yes, it has to start. It has to start. Let's say at the foundation. and then I think also the bigger companies can look. I used to have Adidas bowling shoes back in the 70s.
Do you know, there's a good example. The Adidas logo used in the Olympic Games is different from the one that you and I buy on apparel. The one that we buy, that we see in the shops on the high street, is not the same as the one they used in the Olympics. The one in the Olympics is slightly smaller, and the 3 stripes are slightly thinner.
Yeah.
Because the normal one that you and I wear doesn't comply with their logo rules.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that's just a small.
Yeah, just a small thing.
Small thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, and I can understand what he says about the bowling balls, because it's if I take tennis or let's say any other sport, tennis, golf, whatever.
You're going to need a good magnifying glass to see the logo.
Yes, but also the way of the equipment. You know, it's all very much stricter in the equipment.
Oh, much more.
Bowling has a much wider range of rules, and we can do this without the ball as long as it's round, and as long as and they can make any cover stock, any weight block, any.
Yeah.
I don't see that in any other sport, in curling or whatever, let's say, or even with golf. You know, they're very restricted with what they can do.
Yeah, very much so.
So yeah,
this learning. I think it's a learning process we're going through at the moment, because Andy Oram has got the last 7 or 8 years he's been involved with other Olympic sports, and he lives in Lausanne, which is where the IOC is based.
Yeah.
So hopefully World Bowling is going to be able to use that experience.
It was actually a good question from, do we really want to get into it? Because a lot of things have to change.
Yeah.
It's not from, put it in. So while we were talking, we got...
Who's done what?
Yes, we have...
South Africa still?
Yeah, still South Africa. Kuwait still in second. South Korea. And of course the last game of 256 from Finland, from Nico, brought them up. And Latvia still going strong, Germany, Indonesia. So that's always good for the support.
Yes, it's good to see the host country.
Actually, we just had a visit from the number 2 of the police commander, 1-star general. He came. I never seen it anywhere else, but he came with the whole delegation here to have a look. So tomorrow.
My understanding is there are something like 800 police and military personnel that are just charged with making sure everything's secure.
Yes, and it's not that they're on top of us, and
they've been very good.
They just want to make sure that everything rolls and goes smoothly, and it does. It is so nice,
and it has been.
It has been so nice. The people here and even the volunteers, because there are, I don't know how many hundreds of volunteers are here with helping as well the organization or the Indonesian Bowling Federation. They have volunteers that help with everything that runs smooth. So yeah, it's an amazing experience, and that's why I think for people that actually come here for the first time, we actually brought out from that there are 13 countries played in every Bowling World Cup since 1965. So
really?
So Julie said, okay, she wants to know, and we can post it on the Facebook side, or you can post it here on the chat. Who knows which 13 countries have been to every World Cup? You want to give it a shot?
What, name all 13?
Yes.
No, let me start with the US.
Yes. So
every single World Cup.
Yeah.
The US definitely.
So I know it's not Malta, because that I know that we missed a few. I think
when was the bowling centre open there?
Well, it's been
88, 87.
Yes, but they had an AMF one in a different place that burned down, and then they opened the one in Eden Super Bowl. Then Eden Super Bowl.
So Eden Super Bowl wasn't the original one then?
No, there was another one.
That.
Yeah,
I didn't realise that.
and you have to go and visit them because they need some. They got some big plans. We need help. We need help.
I hope,
And actually,
I hope they're listening.
yes, actually, we talked about it in Las Vegas last year. We had you said from Eden Super Bowl. Yes, it will be nice if
I
they have some new AMF lanes
I'm
there.
just trying to think of the brothers' names that owned that. What was their name?
The Cesare.
That's it.
Yeah. I think they went. I think they came to England. I think when they built it.
I remember my. I think it was my daughter-in-law did the training when they first opened that centre.
Yeah,
and I think it was about 87, 88.
Yes, that's
something
correct.
Like that.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So that's and actually we had actually this morning with Judy we were talking about the Bahamas, and Judy goes from, would that be nice if we have a bowling World Cup in the Bahamas? Then after that we have 100 countries, we make all the records, and then we can retire. So she said, but I don't think there is a center big enough to host that. And then somebody came. No, we have 50 lanes, but it need renovation. We need somebody. So I said, well, we have all the industry.
There is a 50-lane centre there.
Yeah, he said it was a 50-lane center in the Bahamas.
Wow.
But it needs renovation. So QubicaAMF has to send a representative.
I would have thought a place like the Bahamas, they could knock
Maybe
it
you
down
can
and
go
have
and
some really nice villas and sell them for millions.
Maybe you can go and advise them, lead them the way. So it's.
Do I go before I submit the expense claim? Do I ask permission to go?
Yes. Well, I don't know who's on which territory that goes. Bahamas. That's
Bahamas
United
would come
States.
to the US.
US.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So it would be one of Jay Buell's guys, I would guess.
do we have somebody here walking around from out of the US from QubicaAMF?
From Cubica? No, unfortunately, and this is.
Where's Pat, by the way? Pat Janello. What?
Well, the reason Pat would have been here at the end to do the closing ceremony. The plan was that I would do the opening and Pat would do the closing. Unfortunately, this year's World Cup clashes directly with IAPA. IAPA is the biggest amusement machine exhibition in the world. It's on this week in
Vegas,
Orlando.
probably. Oh, Orlando, Florida.
And it is. In fact, I was there last year, the year before, because the World Cup didn't sort of clash with it. But this year it did. Pat was coming in to do the final, but the trouble is, IAPA doesn't finish until Friday.
Okay.
And the quickest that Pat could get into here was going to take him 33 hours.
Oh.
So he couldn't actually arrive until everyone had gone home.
Yes.
So it was that point we said, well, the IAPA exhibition is so important to us.
It is.
It's a huge
I can understand that.
So this time, I've missed IAPA and come here, which, to be honest, is my pleasure.
So we have to listen to your. We have to listen to your closing speech then as well. Your opening speech was very interesting, by the way.
Actually, the closing thing will be sort of extremely brief. It'll really be thank yous.
Yes.
And of course, announcing where we're going to be going next year.
Yes.
No.
No,
I'm not telling.
No, I know, because I already asked Julie. I said, but the question came up from, okay, so then where it's going to be, so we don't know, we will announce it. Then they said, how do we know? Because we had over 300 people listening to us. So then we put the question out from, well, do you think that we have to live stream it then? And then a lot of people came online and said, yes, please. And then Judy came from, can you do it? I said, well, if you give me a little bit of time, I can set it up. We can live stream it, and we can do that.
Yeah, no problem at all. And I can tell you the other thing I can promise you, obviously I know where it's going to be next year.
Oh, so you know.
It will be...
Listeners, he knows.
It will be the most televised World Cup in history. I can promise you that.
Okay.
I can promise you that.
Shall I take my torture tools out and try to get it out of Mr. Roger Creamer, who is sitting next to me?
You can torture me as much as you like. If I were to let it out of the bag now, I'd be in serious trouble. Serious trouble.
So, but okay, then if this is...
we have a lot to do before next year's event, because before next year's event, it's not just where we're going to go next year, but we really want to try and get a lot closer with World Bowling with this event.
Yep.
And it's a sanctioned event at the moment by World Bowling, but we just feel it should be. It's still the biggest annual event by numbers of countries that are participating. It should occupy something in the world.
But I also think that over the years, the standard is just getting higher and higher and higher. You see people, even countries that we never heard of. Turkmenistan, so we were sitting here from, where is that? You know, look at that. The girl, two-handed from the left. I said, what is this? What is this?
Yeah, I know.
You know, there are many more countries coming, developing countries and starting in bowling. So yes, like it is there. So can it become an Olympic sport? Yes, it can. Like you said and like Andy said, but very good. Do we want to? Because if there is a World Cup, there is no other World Cup with so many countries.
You know, you go out there and ask them, do they want to be in the Olympics? You won't get a no out of them. So, okay, so if the athletes want to be there, we've got to figure a way of helping them get there.
Yeah. And I think that was also, because we're almost running at the end, so the final is, what I'd like to ask you is now your official role with QubicaAMF is like trying to make the bridge between players and league players and open bowling and make everybody happy.
Okay, let me try. I still have two roles within QubicaAMF. I manage our distributors in Southeast Asia and the Middle East. So I still have you know, a supervisory role over sales regions. I really took on this role, the sports role, maybe probably 4 years ago now. We had some issues in the Middle East of a sports nature with some federations that were saying some things that weren't particularly true. And our distributor in that part of the world asked for an interview with the president of the company during a sales meeting. And because it was my region, I was invited into that meeting. And the president of the company said, look, Roger, I don't understand this. You do, so you work on it. And really it's been from that point on. The company recognizes, you know, one of our disadvantages, if I go along the ball returns now and pick up any bowling ball, there's not QubicaAMF on any one of them. And I think sometimes that the impression is that because QubicaAMF don't make bowling balls for the hot shots, that we're not in the bowling business of sport, which we most certainly are. You know, the investment that we've put into the World Cup in the last 55 years is millions. Millions.
Yes.
So it's not that we just felt that we were being unfairly...
Pat could fly here with his own Boeing.
You know, I think we were being unfairly viewed in our relationship that we have with the sports side of bowling. And I think what the company's asked me to do, and I hope I'm doing it with some degree of success, is showing people that we are as interested in sport as everyone else is.
I think yes, it has been.
I attend the World Championships, at least one of them every year. I always attend at least one of the zone championships, obviously the World Cup as well. I was quite taken aback when I started attending the first few. The federations, people, presidents of federations were so thankful that we turned up.
Yeah.
And I think, well, that's a shame that we hadn't done so before, because, if they appreciate our presence, we very much appreciate being there. I enjoy those events. It gives me the opportunity to meet. It's what a lovely job when I'm paid to do paid to do what I want to do. It's just amazing.
It's like what a lot of people say. It's from what can be better. The things that you love and you live for.
The trouble is,
passion.
I'm not sure if my employers sort of think, well, he's going to do it for nothing, so let him carry on.
No, I don't think so. No.
I tell you what, one of the things that I do love about this company, we're Italian owned.
Yes.
I came up in the AMF days, which was very, very much a family, very, very much a family. And then the company got taken over in the early 90s by capital venture funds, and there was a couple of bankruptcy issues in the United States because of the bowling centres.
So AMF, it Harley Davidson.
Yeah. And the whole thing really fell apart. And then we came along and merged with Qubica in 2005. We were still influenced by the people who owned the company, because there was still capital venture funds. And it wasn't really until we got rid of those, or the current owners of the company got rid of all the capital venture funds, that we became 100% owned by the Qubica legacy owners. We're back to being a family again. It's a great company to work for.
I know.
And the atmosphere of, amongst us.
I know Mr. Cavoni from Qubica. Since late 90s, that's when he started.
I speak with Manu probably in recent months almost every week, and sometimes more than.
Well,
not about sport, not about bowling, but about Brexit.
Yes. Give him.
What's happening with Brexit, Roger?
Give him my best regards. It's. I met him over the years many times, and actually, unfortunately, when it became QubicaAMF, he took so much on his plate. So we just went apart a little bit. But we had from the early days of Qubica, because you had the Qubica and the other Italian scoring people. And then they really started to nibble. Yeah. And yes, the scoring of AMF in the beginning, they were looking for something else. Yeah, and why should you when it's there?
I know.
So it was a perfect marriage.
Absolutely, I'm sure our major competitor would love to be in a position where Qubica was part of that name.
Yes.
And they have, they have just done the most amazing job.
But they had a good vision,
which is incredible. What they've done in recent years, hyper bowling is just,
and they do.
No one's going to copy that.
And they do it with the Italian passion.
Oh, exactly. I know.
It is great, and that's why I said that we come back and then we will let you go, and you have to do your official things
My
still
official
as well.
things to do.
Yes.
Well,
raising the glass. No.
It's
But you have to go
expensive to raise glasses here.
Yeah. I think you have to go upstairs. So, but Roger, thank you very much. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Talk to you again week.
The listeners are a little bit more now what QubicaAMF means and with the plans for the near future, and we have to stay tuned for where we're going to be next year. I'm going to try to torture him tonight. I will try to feed him some alcohol. Maybe he will, but I think.
Can you afford alcohol?
Well, not if you leave my. Not here.
I was just checking to see if it.
Not here.
Exactly.
Not here. He just wanted to take my phone, so we're not gonna. Anyway, thanks
again.
It's good. Yes,
time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
So that was Roger Creamer. That's as well one of the fathers, let's say, of the QubicaAMF and. Yes, the exit is. Yes. So we're back to the action of the day. It comes here a little bit to the end. We are in the end of game 6. Tomorrow morning the men will start at 9. And great bowling. A friend, he's still stringing them together. I have to look where he is at the moment, which lane. But he is on a mission. And it was as well great talking to Roger. He has as well so much experience and I think everything is in good hands with him and in the Italians, and exciting stuff is going to happen in the near future. So yeah, so I like to see on the Facebook side of QubicaAMF who can name those 13 countries. So now there's been so let's see here one of Mario Joseph bowlers from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and you can always see who is coaching him, because it's going to be coming to an end here pretty soon. So let's put this on the slow motion. It's the practice swing, the little practice swing that Mario always have in his coaching program. And the big wheels keep on turning. Well, good in the pocket there. So great shot there. You know, is at the moment in 19th place. So let's see if he can keep that position for tomorrow. So I don't know, how did Brazil do? How did Brazil do? Good.
Did you ask him?
Yeah, did you finished?
Yes. 17 up. Like yesterday. The same yesterday. Not bad.
You happy?
Yes.
Okay, good. So
Yes.
you can shout it again. What did you? So yeah, that was the bowler of Brazil. He said, you know, same as yesterday. Good. So he's satisfied. So he is in 13th position. So yeah, he should be happy. So also from Malta, Philip Cropetta, still hanging on in 20th place. Well, we're gonna have a model show on lane 15, on lane 14. Oh no, she missed it. That didn't went in. Oh, and now we just, oh my God. Okay, all right. Well, that is when the those things can happen. So yeah, so for now we just thanks for watching. We just have a few frames left on the right of us. So yeah, tomorrow again 9 o'clock local time. So we're gonna have, let's have a quick look of the, what's, how many qualifications. So when there are 4 rounds of six, and then it will be top 24 and top 24. I think that is 8 games, if I'm not mistaken. It could be 6 as well. So let me check for you. top 24. Yeah, top 24 men and women. That will be then 8 games. So we have 4 rounds, 4 qualification rounds. So still a lot of games left. So you know they are halfway now. So they should have established themselves where they want to be. And of course, because it's pretty close, there is not like there are hundreds and hundreds of pins difference. So, you know, let's say we are, let's say 44th place can easily make it in the top 24, and we can go even more down because there are, you know, another 12 left. So yeah, it's not over until it's over. So still a lot to play for. So we will stay with the 21 and 22 until they are finished. And we still have a few frames to go. I think it's on lane 15, 16. We still have some bowling going on 37 and 38. So it's almost done for today. Oh, 13:36. Well, Finland. Very good. Thank you for the compliments and hi from France. Yeah, well, it's hi from France and bye from Palembang, Indonesia very soon. We have actually one frame on both lanes left from Canada and that is Ecuador. No, El Salvador. Well, France need or Canada needs another 2 strikes because that is not the game he came here for. So for a strike, if he strikes out, he will make 159. Jersey 215. So that's more like it. So let's see where the yeah. From the first day, the one that was in the top 3 from Dian DNF from Bulgaria, he's still holding in 12th place. So still doing very good. Opened with 2 soft games of 189 and 170, but then 203, 223 and 208. So depending on what his last game was. So he's still up there. So JJ went to 25th after game 5 with a 201. So let's see what he did in his last game. So he can probably sneak in the top 24 and be a little bit more happy from what he did before. So then, for now, we will say goodbye and good night from Jakabaring Sports City Complex in Palembang, Indonesia. I hope to see you all tomorrow at the stream. So thanks for watching, and good night and bye bye.